Okay, and here we are back for another game as I turn the music down so people can actually hear me better. So, yes, we are back. We've actually made it to 31 sessions and not killed everyone. Not from lack of trying on the player's part, I assure you.
Yeah.
So, session 32, and tonight we have one person lonely at the table. In isolation, we have Stefan who waves. So, Stefan, who are you playing tonight?
I am playing Tidal Rift. He is a Nazi monk. He is a follower of...
and I can even highlight it so people can see which one we're talking about.
Oh my god, his name right now.
Proteus!
Proteus, thank you.
The god of water.
Yes, and all things wet. And basically he is a well-known topic, I guess, for a certain book that's written about him, which is not the most appropriate book.
The Kama Sutra for underwater.
Pretty much. But he thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread, which is terrible. But
50 fathoms of water.
Yeah. And apparently there's a sequel coming out, so that's just horrible, but there you go. And yeah, he tries his best to be the group's tank and fails miserably, but we have fun doing it anyway.
That's okay. We have more tanks coming, I'm sure. Okay, so I generally go down the list of people here. So next person on our list is Jeremy. So as we're missing one person, I will remove them from the list.
Greetings all. Yes, I'm playing Penadier this evening, the hero of the Atruaghin clans, if somewhat accidentally, and now out to try and save the world in accordance with the his warnings that there's something going wrong. Still don't know what it is yet.
Our present wise person.
Well, you have been hired to look in on it.
One ritual at a time.
Okay, so next person on our list of regulars is Paul.
As mentioned before, I warlock, so I deal damage, quite a lot of it in different directions. It's various fun colours.
Amusingly, I clicked on the wrong person when I was pointing to the title last time. So yes, Llewell is the one highlighted.
Yes, I'm the blue. I'm the generally blue in blue pretty boy there.
Yep.
I'm good at persuading things. I'm good at punching holes in things with spells if persuasion doesn't work, and I fix our friends up while I'm doing so.
Okay, so new today we have Georgia, seeing how she likes our group and hopefully doesn't run away like some of the others.
Hey, so I'm playing Azuria Lysand. She is a female wood elf druid, has a very strong affinity with nature and in particular foxes. After she had a bit of a tragic event where she lost a mental figure in her childhood, she went to study a druid and kind of help both the nature and forest and do the right thing. So do good, I guess.
That's a good introduction.
Yep.
And the ongoing NPC in the background is Drazzle. Penmanship, standoffishness, and uncomfortable cuddles are the way he introduces himself. He's a cleric who likes to lay on hands when he heals.
It's not bad. He's friendly.
Yes.
He's just 7.5 feet tall.
Apparently he also likes using lay on cheek as well. Yeah, lay on cuddle too. So he makes people feel better with cuddles. And purring.
Yeah.
And the fact that his horse likes to eat people.
Healing from him to ask for a hug, he gets it.
Yeah, horse in this case has quotes around it. You'll see.
Yep. Okay, so now we have a I will switch over and show you where you are at the moment. You are in Karamikos. So it's always nice to have a map to bring up. If I actually click on the right thing, I want that one.
The setting, by the way, Georgia, is absolutely ancient. Older than most people that presently play in it, and is very, very detailed. And
I'm currently rewriting half of it as we go to represent the original theme that they had in the background that got discarded. So, you are in this old duchy that has been reclaimed by the Romanesque Phaeacians. It is underlying with Romanian superstitious natives who are considered too silly to understand how to look after themselves. So the Phaeacians have come in and have graciously taken over, knocked down all their forms of government and replaced it with their own. And gathered a loosely gathered collection of tribes that were trying to kill each other into a nation. And they've called that the Grand Duchy of Karamikos. As an amusing side note, that is how nearly every other human nation in the region has formed. So it's not an unusual thing. The Phaeacians are the kingdom makers, just that they get overthrown and their structures kept 99% of the time. Which is much better than the Alphatian Empire, which is the other major power of the world, who comes in and basically wipes out the existing culture and replaces it with their own. So you become one of us if you join the Alphatian Empire. The Phaeacian Empire will basically say, we'll absorb your uniqueness and make it part of our own. So you have the Borg and the Klingons. Just to use, nice little geeky little references in there for things. So we last had it that you were in the Barony of Kelvin, right in the center of it, which has a little mouse pointer if you can actually see it. Not sure how well it'll show up online for other people, but we have you there. You have just solved a riddle, and it was a time riddle, which is quite amusing because the only people who knew there was a time riddle were you guys. Everyone else thought it was just the day-to-day events that was happening the same every day for over a year.
And outside it, they didn't really notice that people had stopped.
And yeah, they hadn't noticed that the events that they were investigating the day before hadn't actually happened the day before.
Okay.
And yep.
Penadir is if the first thing he wants to do after clearing it up and making sure it's all working in big pieces is confirm that the line of credit that Adrian provided, can that be withdrawn here?
It can quite easily be withdrawn from Highforge because that's where most gnomes like to bank.
Okay. That's even better. That's all right then.
And you can also get it from Specularum. The Barony of Kelvin doesn't deal in foreign currencies.
Well, okay, that's it. No, I'm happy Highforge is actually even better for Penadir's purposes because he wants to travel across, because we did catch up with the gnome patient in the hospital that was still left there after the events had been sorted, I believe.
We did.
And so Penadir is keen to ensure that he recovers, but also then try and get invitation to visit the gnomes and to talk to them about their caravan and what's going to happen next for them.
Okay. And so while you're doing that, who's actually got the current staff? None of the remaining characters actually have the staff at the moment.
I have a
The Red Druid staff.
Red Druid staff?
Yeah.
Okay, so it is Tidal who has the staff of power.
That's awkward.
Yeah,
The talking stick.
As against my staff of power.
So
Yours is it?
no, each of you have one.
Oh.
So Tidal's staff rings.
It rings?
Yep. It's giving this strange beeping noise.
Do I understand this technology?
No, you've never actually dealt with it before. You've been carrying it.
Can I roll for technology?
Yeah, you've been using it to test the depth of water in Birdie puddles.
Yes, you have actually. And hey, it is a black onyx staff.
Alright, what am I rolling to try and work out what the hell this is doing?
Give me an insight roll.
Insight. What is my staff doing? Okay. That's not too bad. That's a 22.
Okay, so as it's ringing, you notice that there are some runes that are glowing down the staff.
Yep.
And you realize you can actually run your finger along them.
I will touch said runes.
As you touch the runes, you hear a voice in your head. Hello, been trying to get you guys for a while.
And I will respond back to the voice, but probably aloud because I don't realize this. Hello?
Yes, this is Redtree, and I've been trying to get in touch with Tidal, Prayer Deer, and Llewell. I even sent messages along, and I still haven't heard anything for a while.
How did you send messages?
Well, I gave some to a wizard by the name of Forlac and another wizard.
Another wizard?
Whose name is Marzi. I can't remember the name. The name escapes me at the moment. But it was the two from last session.
Oh, okay, right.
Who actually did come with messages.
Right, yes. Well, we met some wizards, and I believe they passed on some kind of messages, but why am I talking to a staff?
Oh, it's because you're supposed to report in when you'd worked on some mysteries.
Oh, okay. I'm going to kind of point to the staff at Pradio and go, the staff holder wants to talk to you. And it's not me.
No, this is after Purdy's already left to try and get to Rockholm.
Oh, crap. Okay.
And you look and he's, the Pradier's walked out.
I'll just go, okay. Pradio's not here right now. Can I take a message?
So is he now in charge of the group?
No, he's just better at understanding...
Well, if next time when you need, just, tap the staff 3 times and call my name, and you can contact me.
Oh, okay. What if I... Alright, okay, sure. Tidal seems a bit confused at this, but will nod in understanding,
And the runes stop glowing, and he stops talking in your head.
Okay. This whole conversation was out loud, by the way, so...
Well, half of it was.
Half of this conversation, whatever the hell I said was out loud, the rest of it was not. So I'm either a lunatic, but you knew that already.
Yeah, but now you're a different type of lunatic.
Exactly! I'm a tanking lunatic.
And you can see Dressel sitting across from you, busily scribing away while looking at you.
Shit. Let's go in the book. I'm going to point to Drowse and ask him, please don't put that in the book.
And you can see he's writing, please don't put that in the book. We're for never mind.
I would give up. Where are we?
Dressel winks at you, she says, you just give up. Doesn't put that in the book.
Of course, Jonathan, of course. I will let Llewell know that I've just spoken to
Redrian.
Adrian.
And that he was expecting us to reply with a message through this staff, apparently.
Called the talking stick.
Yes, apparently our talking sticks all have this ability which I wasn't aware of.
You only had one.
Just now. Oh, okay.
And you're the bunny in the group who got given it.
Oh, right, okay.
Which is why no one's reported in up until now.
Ah, right.
Not bunny, fearless leader.
Me, I'm not a leader.
I thought he was about to say, me, I'm not fearless, but...
You're always at the front.
Unless you count the person who's going to hit the ball first is me as the leader, then yes, I will definitely count that. It's usually just my face that hits the ball first.
Dressel looks at you and says, should I get parodied?
If you can catch him, he went that way.
Okay, I get host of chase.
Oh, this will be fun. Okay, I'm gonna watch Drazzle catch Frodo.
Okay, you see Drizzle walk out and talk to his horse, and the horse just start running off without the carriage.
This is the horse with the weird neck, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. This is
The one that leaves claw marks on the ground.
yeah.
So there's a pile of bunch of sparks as it goes racing off into the distance.
Oh, that just adds to the fun.
I know. I'll just calmly wait for Drazzle to return with a hope.
No, Drizzle's not on the horse.
Oh, sorry, with the horse. Hope with an intact radio.
So Jeremy, were you actually leaving the city?
Well, his goal was to get in contact with someone who could arrange, because you can't go to the gnomes uninvited.
Yep.
So he was going to try and get in contact with the gnomes, probably going back to the hospital as the first point of call, on the idea of that was the main contact, assuming there were any halflings around.
And you remembered that when you went in the hospital, there was actually no door where you expected it?
No, that's right. So,
Okay, so where did you wish to go?
but we did have, like I say, when we found the doors were missing, but there was still the gnomish patient, wasn't there?
No, the Nomi section was completely gone.
That was all
okay,
none,
okay.
none of that was there.
In which case, then I'll head towards the docks and inquire about passage across the river to Rockholm.
Okay, so you want to go across the river to Highforge?
Sorry, Highforge, yes.
Just thought I'd check because Rockholm's a bit of an ass for some of these guys.
I keep getting Rockholm and Highforge confused in my mind. So.
All good. They're more than willing to try if you pay them. They are halflings after all. They say they can do anything.
Yes, and including charging you twice.
Okay, so as
But I will let the halflings know that particularly, yes, whilst I'm aiming for Highforge, I'm particularly wanting to get in contact with the gnomes.
As you're talking to halflings in the middle of trying to figure out who can get you to talk to the gnomes, a horse is walking down the docks with a couple of confused guards following behind. You recognize the horse?
Mm-hmm. If I'm talking to someone directly at that moment in time,
yep,
I'll apologise. Excuse me, I may have more pressing business, but I will still be interested in getting across to Highforge within the next 24 hours, if possible.
That they say, come back anytime. As long as you've got a pass, we can get you across.
Well, okay. Who do I talk to about getting a pass?
Oh, just talk to the Baron. I'm sure he can arrange one.
Thank you. Okay. And then, yes, I will investigate why Drazzle sent his horse.
The horse comes up to you and growls at you.
Mm-hmm. So, I'll ask it in Draconic. Is there an issue?
It tries to pick you up with its bite.
Hey, there's no need to that. Okay, but just nod yes if you want me to go back.
It has a rather weird-looking nod.
Well, we'll get back there. Okay. And I'll also tell the guards that it should be that they're not. Yes. I have the beast under control. I shall return it to its owner.
One of them hands you a scroll for a fine.
Mm-hmm.
That they don't like loose beasts in the city.
That's fine. I'll give the fine to the owner.
As it tries to hand the scroll to you, the horse reaches over and bites the scroll in half.
If they find out what that thing actually is, the fine will be much larger because that counts as a monster.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he happily wanders back, barreling through the guards on his way back.
Okay. I will assist the guards to stand up again and apologise and explain that, yes.
Apparently he knocks two of them into the water.
Can I reach down to lift them up, or is
Yep.
it better to dive in to cool them out?
You can reach down and pull them up. That they sort of look like drowned rats.
So I will have a word to the owner, and I'll also be having a word to the Baron. So I'll ensure that the fines are paid.
They nod in your direction, and you can hear one of them mutter, "As long as we don't have to deal with whatever that horse is again."
Yes. I'll ignore the muttering and keep going.
Okay, so you have no problems reaching the others. At this stage, you can see Tidal is outside with Drazzle staring in your direction, while Drazzle is busily scratching his horse while in human guise.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I get there, I will point out to Drazzle that you should not let your pet loose in the city alone.
I did not let him loose in city. I sent Pet for you.
Yes.
And you came back. Was successful. He nods in your
Yes.
direction.
But there may well be consequences.
I will discuss with anyone about consequences.
Indeed.
Who do I need to see?
Well, say, I'm looking to see the Baron briefly, and I suspect that he may have work for you as well.
He turns to his horse and says, "Come, horse, let's speak to Baron."
Hang on, wait, what did you want me for?
A bit worrying.
We can get to the Baron shortly. What did you want me for?
Tidal want you. Tidal want you to talk to his stick.
Adrian called?
Yeah, apparently the black staff...
I'll be actually, I'll be encouraging Drazzle to stay and listen if Drazzle was starting to walk off.
Yeah, let Stefan finish though.
Also good. Apparently the black staff that I was given, it allows us to talk to, I'm going to keep calling him Radar, but it's not. Redrian. And, if you'd allow me, he was expecting us to send messages back, and I hadn't known until now. So I'll just stomp it 3 times and call...
I do believe that was the reason you got given the staff. Possibly the reason that you failed to send messages regularly is because we got caught in this time loop that went for longer than we thought it did.
That too.
Okay, so you see the runes light up on the staff, and you in your head you hear Redrian here.
Can I suggest we not do this in the open?
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, good plan.
is the inn nearby that we can head inside?
And also is Drazzle's caravan.
Oh, we have to go
His
to
cart,
the
yeah.
Okay.
He's busily hooking his horse back up
We
to
can
it.
go into the tiny cart if you want. Nice.
I'm just thinking that Kelvin is not the ideal place to manipulate such items
Oh.
openly.
Um.
So if we'll all fit in the cart, that's fine.
All right. Let's get into the cart. Excuse me, Red. We will.
I can hold the line, he says.
Thank you.
You hear him sort of do it.
Well, I'm thinking, I was thinking, what line? This is stop. Alright, so we get into the carriage?
You open the door, and it's not a caravan or a carriage.
What is it?
It seems to be somewhere else. You've never gone into the back of his space yet.
I will ask Drazzle if this is safe.
No.
Well, that's honest. Should we go and see the inn?
It's a lot bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
Well, it doesn't seem to open into a carriage.
Does it open into?
It's just black.
Yeah, no thanks. Can we go into the inn? I'd rather not go through another weird ritual thing like we did the other day.
Peladier has no concerns about, yes, private room in the inn is probably a more preferable location.
Alright, let's head back into the inn.
So you head into the inn, passing through a bunch of halflings. There are a couple of elves floating around, and you make yourself up into the room. And then, yes, you do manage to... Redrin finishes his humming along while he was waiting for you, saying, ready now?
Yes, I'll close the door behind us once Predator is in the room, and I will ask Predator to touch the staff.
You hear a coughing sound as the staff now audio will put some sound out. It says, well, it doesn't actually have to touch the staff.
Oh, sorry, I'm new to this.
That's okay. We know you haven't really handled technology very much, he says.
No, I prefer my fists and feet.
So, what do
Just
you
think
guys...
of the staff like the shield,
But it's a stick.
and you can't see the face.
Okay.
Oh, you want me to do that? And then this image of him appears above the staff.
Well,
Does that make you more comfortable?
Is that better for you? He says. I can see you clearly.
Sure.
You're coming through quite clearly on my end.
I'm not used to it, but sure. Okay, yes, this helps. I now know what I'm talking to instead of the peculiar inanimate object, but yes.
Well, hey, I'm sure you talk to inanimate objects all the time. I've heard you talking to your book on various occasions.
I talk my book.
Yes, you say, oh dear, I did that. Oh, yes, I did that. I remember that. I should meet with that person.
He's not talking to them.
Wait.
He's talking about it.
So you can hear me even though this thing isn't on?
Didn't you read the memo?
Not as well as I also should have.
I did give instructions. Though you were currently reading a book at the time.
It is a good book. Have you read it?
Yes.
I recommend it. There's a sequel coming out soon.
I know, I managed to get an advance copy.
I'm going to talk to Razzle.
I did, that worked.
He hasn't shown me the manuscript yet.
Well, he hasn't finished writing it yet, but he gave me an advance copy.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to Razzle about that. But shall we continue our other pressing matters? Predator, I asked you to come here so that you might better report to Redden as to what happened.
Oh, by the way, have you met the elf I sent along to help you? There should be an elf by the name of Aziria, a druid who loves foxes a little too much, but should be a good investigator to help you.
Where did you last leave them?
They said they were going to meet in this inn. They should have been here about around this time. I was going to send them with some wizards, but the wizards didn't seem like they were very much elf-loving.
I'll go and find her.
Okay.
So he describes the elf.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, while Llewellyn's getting Alexia, the Pettidy will ask Redrin, so is she aware, is this druid aware of your overarching mission?
In a broad sense, that she's there to investigate and find out what is going on in the world. It's easier to hire people without telling them too much.
No, it's just confirming what we talked to her about.
Yeah. So feel free to be as honest as you want. Just basically trying to gather together a team of investigators to basically run down all these mysteries that are popping up everywhere.
So, indeed. So, more assistance will always be valuable. So,
Yeah.
Well, yes.
As I said, I'll go down and find our fox-figured elf.
Okay, so as Llewell descends, with the description you were given, there's obviously one elf that stands out as that description, sitting off by herself, currently having 3 different halflings hitting on her.
Unfortunately, it turns out Assyrian's actually gone off to the lure at that moment in time, and it's totally different accommodated.
That's all right. Whoever it is, I'm going to rescue them from halflings. I happen to... Sorry, carry on.
Oh no, so Azira is sitting there saying, excuse me, I'm not interested. I'm actually looking for some people at the moment. So if you could please just leave me alone. I'm very busy right now. But thanks for the compliment.
And most of them will come up going, am I the person you're looking for? I'm a bit taller than the other one. And so that you keep having these 3 halflings rotating in your annoyance without actually saying anything nasty to you. Or
I'll stand behind them and lean over a little bit, look down and go, I'm taller than all of you. And I'm here, and I'm who she's here to talk to.
Oh,
And they sort of all look up at you and go, "You may be taller right now. We can fix that if you like.
No,
We do know the cook."
Yeah, I know the cook too, and yeah, let's not go that route, please. You are Aziria, I presume.
yes, I am. Azira Lysand.
Good. I am Chlor, and
Great.
yes,
I've been looking for you
So-
guys, but I couldn't find you anywhere. I just kept getting.
that's all right. We stand out, but we obviously weren't where you were looking. If you pick your drink up, we'll go upstairs.
Yep.
I'll take you to the others.
One of the halflings called out, "Don't worry, I'll pay for the meal. I'll wait down for here afterwards if you like."
That won't be necessary.
Oh, they didn't pay for the meal.
Well, okay.
He gives you a big grin and a wink. And you basically see a fry pan come out of nowhere and strike him in the back of the head, and he just passes out in the food.
Yep.
Just be glad
Yeah.
it's right there.
As we go upstairs, I'm going to say the cook that he referred to. We travelled with him for a little bit. We know him reasonably well. He's also a well-renowned assassin. Don't annoy him.
I'll make a note of that.
Okay, so you come into the room. You see before you Preya Deer, who you described as the practical one, who speaks to things that aren't there. And then you were described Tidal, the one with the family he's never met. And then you were described Drazzle, the one who isn't as he appears to be. And then the last one was Luel, the one who talks too much.
Well, I'm Azira, the one who spends too much time in the forest.
There's no such thing.
So you do know the person knows them fairly well, as in they were flattering but not flattering explanations of them.
So you're a group of investigators?
Yes.
Greeting back. Welcome to the team.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so I was sent to help you guys, but I wasn't really given much information.
Yeah,
He
he's
does that.
good at that. He gives you enough, but it doesn't come across as enough most of the time.
Yeah,
Or he gives you some of the information and us the other half.
well,
So we have to go and put it together.
yeah, let's try and piece this together.
Well, I was going to say, potentially, my Lord Ridgeon may have more information for us at this stage. I will explain the fact that, yes, we were just tying up some loose ends upon the investigation of the Gnomish caravan this morning. We appear to have found the cause. It would appear indeed that it was a case that there were certainly influences from some of the immortal beings. You'll have a quick look around again and just think about whether there's any listening ears around the room, outside of the room, but also, is this a safe manner of talking?
This place appears fairly safe. You have had other places that everyone was listening in, but it says if anyone can listen in, they'll listen in.
So, so Regan will explain the situation of the caravan to the best of his understanding, explaining the fact that yes, whilst and possibly if we've been delayed in our reporting, it may well be that we've been caught in the time loop a bit longer than we understood we had been, because yes, it certainly seems that part of the issue and part of the confusion as to what happened to the Gnomish caravan is that for the people living here, it only happened yesterday. No, the day before.
They've lost the years of their time.
Yep.
Only yes. Potentially that may have been the day before, depending upon how many times we've been locked in here. So,
We'll find out when we get somewhere else.
indeed. So, but yes, we have a few. Well, at least I wish to tie up a couple loose ends. But if you've got further news for us or other locations you wish us to look into.
Yeah, well, I do have, depending on how far afield you wish to travel, there is a missing holy tablet in Orendi. So they also have a shipwreck somewhere near there as well. He has Underwater Kingdom needs some assistance in Minrathad. If you really want to get involved in the ocean politics.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that, but you guys are going to have a hard time reading.
There is a gathering of cultists in Norworld in a region that appears very well defended.
Well, certainly we would be happy to investigate whichever one he sees the most pressing at the present time, noting, of course, that some of those will certainly take some time to actually travel to and arrive at.
And there's also there are quite a few more actually. There are the rumors of a city in the middle of the Isle of Dawn where it's supposed to be just wilderness.
Take note of all this.
There is also a magic lamp being hunted in the middle of Yalaram, so it might actually grant wishes.
463,000 people after that one, all stabbing each other in the back.
Yeah, problem is they need to find it, so when it is found, it may also be a problem.
Have you heard any news back from your investigators regarding the giants here in Katamikos?
We have had some knowledge back saying that the giants are gathering for a moot. So all the hill giants are gathering in Karamikos from all over the world. They have not gathered in recorded history.
Well, exactly. It was certainly something that, as we were travelling down from Dadakan, it was the locals were certainly aware of the gathering of the giants and were attempting to prepare for their advance.
And there's also a mirror in Specularum of that apparently is the last thing two heroes were investigating before they disappeared.
Well,
Might be similar to that shield we got close to.
okay, certainly Specularum is the most immediate we could attend to.
And Paul, you're also fairly quiet in the background there.
Yeah, I can just make you out, but only barely.
Oh, okay. Is this better?
A little bit. You might need a bit more volume if you can.
How about that?
It's better, not great, but better.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes it goes a bit weird on volume.
Yeah, it sounds like you're talking through a sock.
Oh, okay.
Or the microphone is some distance away from you.
It's right next to my mouth, so there's something else.
Yeah, tools are crazy. So yes, and he's also saying that one of the things of interest is a island of creatures has been discovered to the south called that they refer to as the Isle of Dread. Apparently some heroes have returned from there recently with some things they have found.
Well, does Penadir know enough about where the Isle of Dread is from Katamikos?
It is south and a long way south.
Yep. So, and considering you rolled a 1, yep, that's more than you know, probably.
Most
Because
people.
I was just thinking the fact that if the heroes returned, they might well have returned to Specularum, and therefore, again, it could be a convenient place to actually find out more about what they found.
And actually sending a group of investigators there might gather more information because there's supposed to be a temple there. And it might be an old temple that might give you more information. So he's left it open for what you guys would like to try and attempt, and he will then assign other investigators to things you don't get round to doing if he can find some.
Mm-hmm.
He says he does have 3 main teams running around poking into things at this stage.
Title's curious about the underwater city. I don't know what you guys are interested in.
Well, I'm concerned that the underwater city may be one that's difficult for us to investigate, aside from yourself.
Yeah.
If I could add one thing, I do actually have a cloak of the manta ray, which allows me to breathe underwater, if that would help at all.
Indeed, that would certainly make it more feasible for yourself to help
But
investigate.
probably not as a group.
Take one breath and pass it on. So he says at this stage I have a group heading over to Aegos to investigate a missing army. So he's already got the that covered, but that's someone travelling to the Empire of Alphatia. They were the most problematic of his group, so if they get killed off, it's not a big deal.
There seems to be a recurring theme. People missing very large amounts of people. Like first it's an Nomish caravan, now it's an army, next it'll be an entire continent.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Potentially, if you're interested, title in going to Erendi for the underwater city, then that is certainly something we can look at. But possibly we could go via via Speculatum on the way and see what we can find. At least look into this mirror that may be of concern.
Oh, he says, and also he managed to contact the gnomes and get you a pass so you can go over and see them.
Oh. Did you want to go to Highforge? No.
That is.
Well, I do want to make a short trip to Highforge. I'm not expecting to take more than. It should be done before lunch.
So if we go to Highforge, then Specularum, then down to Erendi?
They said they'll be showing up to pick up their contraptions in the next few hours, so they'll be waiting for you at the docks.
Well, I could also I'll meet them at the docks and then accompany them to the caravan because it's that which I wish to discuss with them about.
Well, we can pack our things and get ready and meet you at the docks if you like.
Mm-hmm. Well, is that a reasonable plan? Do we know anything more about this mirror? You said you had a couple of people starting to investigate it, but they hadn't heard, or?
He hasn't heard back. He has had more than 1 or 2 groups disappear and not contact him back.
Well, potentially that's even more reason to at least look into what happened to them at the same time as finding out more about this mirror.
It sounds like a plan.
Okay, so if you manage to make it to the docks, just say Rendarian sent you and show the staff, and they'll know that you are the people that were supposed to come.
Yep. I'd just like to make sure I leave a tip for Fitz before I head off.
Yep.
I'll give him 5 gold.
Okay, so would anyone like to do anything? Ask him any questions before he goes. And for Georgia's information, the guy they're talking to was the chief engineer of a starship that crashed about 10,000 years ago or more.
And he's now apparently the chief priest of a new god.
Right.
So he does do technobabble every now and then at them.
And yes, he's someone that we actually managed to rescue from the effective imprisonment that he'd been in for thousands of years since his spaceship had crashed, although not that most of us really understand exactly how that works. He was obviously trapped in another dimension or something. But the reason that we're now working with him or talking with him is the fact that he's noted that apparently there is, as part of his return or leading up to his return, there's been events happening in the world that indicate that someone or something or someone's potentially immortal beings are aiming to destabilise the world, and if they continue, it'll lead to the effectively the death of the world, because it'll lead to the loss of all magic, and therefore all beings with magic entailed in them.
Right.
So
That's why we're helping him.
Yep, thank you. So Petadiv's main goal to talk with the gnomes before we depart is just to see if there's anything that can be done. If the caravan artifact was rebuilding itself when last we left, so it's probably all finished and ready by now. He wanted to confirm exactly what their plan, what the gnomes' plans were for the future, so that's the main reason we want to talk to the gnomes before we left, which is to find out what they were planning on doing and what their goal, what their next steps were.
Okay, so if you don't have anything else, he says goodbye. You get to catch up with each other. And what would you like to do and discuss before you head off and do things?
I'm just going to make sure that I give that tip to the chef. If I can, I'll try and buy some meals to go from him for the trip.
As you're going down there, he says, "What, you're leaving without me?"
You coming with us?
Sure.
Oh,
Fun things happen around you guys.
Sure, well, we're heading to High.
Well, no, we're probably actually going to be heading directly to Specularum from here, because apparently the High Forge gnomes are actually coming across to pick up their caravan.
Oh, okay.
So Petadiv's happy to talk directly with them, because they're actually the gnomes that he wants to talk to most likely.
Yep.
To discuss what they're doing, what their plans are for the caravan in the future.
Cool.
So,
well, I'll just accompany Phipps down to the docks then. Once he's ready, I'll wait around.
Certainly Petadiv's got no concerns if people also want to be involved in discussion with the gnomes, but okay. So, is there any issues with Petadiv meeting up with the gnomes?
No, you have no problems meeting up for the gnomes. As you meet up with them, you do hear the sound of their caravan coming along.
Oh, so they've already collected the caravan?
You can hear it coming to the docks.
The gnomes still on the docks at this point, or the caravan's moving itself, or the gnomes?
Well, as you look, you can see the big armoured caravans moving under their own power to where you're standing by the docks, and you can see coming up the river 4 large barges that you've never seen their design before.
And there particular emblems on the barges, like flags or something?
Shape?
They have gnomish runes on the side.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, when the gnomes dock, I will be standing nearby and try and attract their attention, as they're probably heading straight towards the caravan, or the caravan heading straight towards them. But
well, you're standing in between the two at the moment, so.
Yep. I'm about to get squashed. So.
I would like to jokingly ask Phipps which one is yours.
What, you mean I get to keep one, he says?
No, I just... Sorry, I'm still learning this human thing.
This humour thing?
Never mind.
Well, there is a humour thing about pushing people into the water. You should try that.
And
And he sort of gestures towards Parody.
I'm not sure you'd appreciate that.
Well, you'll never know until you find out.
I'm not going to say a thing.
He does say it loud enough for Praetor to hear it.
Yep.
Purposefully.
I'll just kind of look at Phipps, look at Praetor, kind of notice Praetor listening in, and just kind of stay silent and kind of go, maybe another time.
Basil comes up behind you and just tries to help push you.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, I was expecting that. I think I'm in the middle now.
I'm going to stay quiet because if I actually say something, it's probably going to be a suggestion.
Okay, so you find yourself in the water and you hear Drizzle above saying, "Is that funny?"
Yes, Basil. Let's go with yes.
He says, "Good," and then walks away.
I will scamper out and attempt to dry myself off by doing an awkward kind of arms out stance, walking around in a T section.
Okay. So, as this is happening, you see these strange wagons come to a stop. There's still no driver on the wagon. There's nothing pulling the wagon. The wagons are moving on their own.
Has there been any reaction from the town guard at all?
Yes, they've been keeping people from getting underfoot and out of the way because apparently the wagons aren't actually waiting for people either.
No, that's right. So, I'm just curious. Yes.
They have wheels.
I suspect that these unmanned, unattended objects are well recognised within the town. So,
and when you look at the barges seem to be designed for the wagons to roll right onto them.
yeah.
And they don't actually go to the docks. They go right up to the edge of the city, and basically run right up to the city itself.
Okay. Okay. Certainly, I will actually barges effectively hit the river's edge.
Mm-hmm.
I will try and hail the barge and see if I can attract their attention of some of the personnel on the barge.
Okay, there is a dwarf who sticks his head out and goes, "You must be Praetor. You're the one who's got the ticket to go back to the Gnomish city?"
I did, although I'm not certain that I'll necessarily need it. Are any of the Gnomish folk on these barges?
Oh no, they sent me to go pick up their stuff because they broke it and they're not here anymore.
Okay.
If you want to go back and talk to them.
If I may, it would be good to get a chance to talk with them. Only briefly.
Do you want to bring anyone with you?
I will gesture to the others to say, it looks like we need to get to High Forge after all.
Yeah, I'll come with.
Sure.
Okay, so you're looking at the barges. This is the first time you've seen a barge made out of metal.
Expensive, but I can see the use of it.
Well, I figure if the barges are good enough, are going to be strong enough to hold the caravans if they trundle on and go across the river, the extra weight of a few people and horses and elk. No, because they say no. The elk will stay. As far as I'm concerned, that stays there because we'll come back and collect that. So whether Drazzle's horse and carriage, I'm not certain, but yes, Perennial is expecting to come back to Kelvin at this stage to collect final belongings. But yes, if it can carry the caravan, then it can carry us.
Okay, so
Even if it is metal.
Yeah, you do manage to get on there. You notice that the caravan, each of the barges can carry 2 caravans.
And there are 3 barges. There are all 6 caravans are there.
Yep. And all 6 of the caravans are here.
Yep. And they're really, really here.
Oh, very interesting too.
So we're missing 2 carriages.
And the 4th barge is basically for taking people on.
Okay.
And Drizzle brings his horse and cart. You do notice that Fipper doesn't seem to worry too much about the horse.
And the fact its neck does weird things.
And yes, you do see the horse is currently scratching its backside with its teeth.
Yeah. Well, horses can do that. Just this one finds it easy.
Depends how far.
Well, it's sort of doing it with its head bent over backwards.
Oh, Very elegant.
While walking.
We need to give
Yeah.
Jazz better warning about
I'm-
that.
I'm going to presume that those of us that have mounts will take them with us.
Well, like I say, Pettidier was planning on, as soon as it turned out that we were not meeting the gnomes here,
We just keep
but
going from
because
there.
Pettidier had played, like as far as Pettidier was concerned, he'd left his elk at the inn because he'd expected that, oh yes, talk to the gnomes in here at the warehouse and then come back to the inn and leave from the inn.
You're welcome to go back and get your mount if you wish to, the bargeman says.
Potentially we can come back by this. I say, High Forge is north of here. We'll be heading south from here anyway, so
It depends. Are you taking a dirigible south?
I wasn't thinking of a dirigible. Probably going south on the river.
But they're so much slower.
But they're very restful, and they never stop.
Just
But
roll.
anyway,
If you have everything you need on board, get in, move to the back, stay away from the edges, and try not to get caught when they close.
okay. Petidier's looking around, okay, realising, oh yes, okay, so you must be talking about the gates that allowed the carriages on and type stuff, so...
Yes, if these things aren't taking any notice of anyone in the way, we don't want to be in the way. Let's not do that.
I'd like to ask Phipps if he's been on any metal barges before.
So, yeah, he's been on this one a few times. It's always fun.
Okay. Anything we should be expecting?
Yep.
Like
He nods.
seasickness? Or...
That would just be funny. Someone who's dedicated to water being seasick.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm more worried about my companions.
Oh, if they get seasick, that's even more hilarious.
Well, Pettidier is actually deliberately standing as central as he can, meaning he's as far away from all the metal barriers and stuff like that. He's only got the metal floor under his feet.
And you see Drizzle's horse curl into a ball quite happily in front of his carriage and just start snoring.
I'll motion to Phipps to, and well, Title will, not officially, but well, yeah, I guess officially introduce Phipps to the Well and Praetor and Drizzle and this area, and just basically introduce Phipps to the whole gang. He didn't know their names or not.
In fact, how wide is the river here to get across to High Forge?
It is probably about close to a mile wide. It is one of the biggest rivers in the city, in the
Yeah, no, that's
country.
right. And gonna say, Petitier's been practicing circular breathing. I'm sure he can do it.
Okay, so as the boat comes away from the dock, you see the sides of the boat start to slide up.
Well, Petitier's actually pulled out his whistle, and he's aiming to fly across the river.
You are?
Yes. Doesn't really want to be close to all this metal.
Okay, so I'll give you a... You can basically fly out of it if you wish to.
Yep. So.
You do that?
Yep. Okay. It was the sort of thing that he basically walked on and realised, hang on, this whole thing's made of metal. No, I don't want to be near it.
I know, it's a cultural thing. Okay, so you manage to fly up and away from the boat just before it sinks.
Wait, what?
So you're saying the side actually came up and closed over the top and the boat went underwater?
Yep.
Right.
Submersible. Wow.
Petitier, he almost loses his breath from shock, but manages to keep playing and will aim to get across the river as fast as he can.
Okay, you managed to make it across the river. There is no tracks, no road, no visible settlement here as you land on the other side of the river.
Looks like I'm walking.
And no bubbles from where the others went.
Did I see any evidence underneath their movement underneath the waterline?
No.
Can I determine where High Forge is from this location?
It is somewhere in the vicinity of about 24 miles from here.
Yeah, I thought, yes.
To the north, maybe?
So, and that road's on the other side, isn't it? Yeah, okay.
It is.
That didn't go quite what I wanted. Penadine will start walking upriver.
Okay, you start walking upriver. Okay, so it might be a day or so before you arrive. Okay, so the rest of you, while you're in your metal contraption, you see the sides of it reach up and start to close over as Pradier just flies up out of the location, out of the back of the vehicle.
Zero tentatively says, I don't have a good feeling about this.
And there's this big clang as it seals shut, and you realise it's airtight as you feel it drop into the water.
Well, more importantly, you hope that it's watertight.
Yes, I'm very much thinking, well, it's a good thing it's actually closed rather than closing after it went downwards.
And you see the halfling chef just playing with some dice while talking to Tidal.
He's betting, isn't he?
What does it look like inside the barge when it's all closed up?
It is sort of a reddish haze as they don't really have a great light source, and it's coming from the back wall. Apparently Drazzle is holding up something that's glowing red.
I'm going to hold up something that's glowing white. It's rather easy to see that way.
Drazzle wanders over and sees if he can swap the red and the white round just to see what happens.
I hand him the light stone that I'm holding. He hands me the red one. I'll turn it white.
He looks disappointed. He turns the one you handed him red.
I hand him the white one.
He hands you
I take
the red
one
one.
off him. I don't change its colour.
He gives you a hug and walks off.
Yeah, I look at Zeria. That's generally how things work around Drazzle.
He turns the other one red.
I turn this one white.
He comes over, hands you the red one, picks up your white one.
Yep, I turn that one red and then turn this one white.
He frowns at you.
I turn them both green.
He growls at you.
I turn them two different greens.
He looks at his horse. His horse is looking up at you expectantly.
I turn them two different colours of pink.
There's a sigh. Drazzle turns to you and says, "You've not travelled underground before, I see."
No.
Red light work best.
Ah. No, fair enough.
Red light, danger light, keep bad things away. If something attacks you while you're projecting red, obviously you get to kill it. You project green light, you're saying friendly, happy person.
Yes, and if it attacks you anyway, it's its own fault.
Yes, but things then come up to you, pretend to be friends, stab you.
Ah, but sometimes they're actually friends. But yeah, I'll go with red then.
He seems happy, and then he sits down and pulls out a book, and you think he's writing some things about his interactions with you.
Of course he is. It's Drazzle and he's writing.
Okay, so yes, you go for about an hour with a bouncing around. You have a feeling as if it's walking along the bottom of the river.
Can I cast Detect Magic?
You can. And you realise that you're within a magical zone.
The whole place is magical.
Drazzle himself is covered in magic. His horse is covered in magic. His carriage is covered in magic. Tidal's covered in magic. The well's covered in magic. The halfling cook is covered in magic. You've got magic. And
Everything's just magic.
yeah.
Around here, yeah.
Cool. While they're arguing about lights, Azaria sits down and just starts pondering about life.
It's rather uncomfortable. It's metal. Doesn't feel like nature at all to you.
No, I'm immensely uncomfortable right now, so I just try and meditate or ignore what's happening.
Shift into something that doesn't care and then have a lie down.
Okay, so after about an hour of travel, you feel a sinking sensation, and then you feel a bit of a lurch as you push into the deck, as if the barge just dropped about a couple of meters. And then it seems to be, you seem to slide a bit towards the back as it seems to be just moving off very fast.
Tilting, it's doing weird stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's slightly concerning.
And you hear coming from the front of the barge a voice from in Dwarven saying something.
Yeah, I don't speak that, so I have no idea.
How many of you speak Dwarven?
I have to check, I don't think so.
Nope.
Not everyone does.
Can I ask Fitz what was said?
Oh, they're basically saying we should reach High Forge in the next hour.
Oh, that's pretty quick.
Oh, we just connected to the Dwarven Railway.
Underwater?
I wouldn't put it on land. Other people would use it.
Oh.
That's actually really good reasoning. I like that. I know I don't speak.
Yeah, it's a fascinating thing.
I haven't blown this one up yet, so it's interesting.
Do you often blow up railways?
Well, I blew up their one in the Five Shires. Can't use that one anymore.
I guess that's reasonable.
It's always good to know where the entrances are.
You mean no adventures in the past?
Well, it's the easiest way to find them. And plus, unless you've got one of their vehicles, it doesn't really work too well for anyone else.
No.
Those things don't stop for anything else.
I imagine they wouldn't.
Occasionally, you have this little rocking sound as it runs over something.
Is that what that is?
Most of the time, yes.
Oh.
So that was someone who had poor life choices.
Well, dear, so we don't run into one of these and get the wrong side of the tracks.
Okay, so you guys, after about an hour or so of uncomfortable jostling, you find yourself a feeling of slowing down. Mainly because you find yourself pressed up against the front of the...
Okay.
Yep.
And there's also this uncomfortable scratching sound as the horse digs its hooves into the floor.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, good old nails.
Good old horses with claws that go into metal.
It doesn't go into the metal, you just hear it scratching along the metal. And
Good old
so,
fingernails on blackboard.
very much so. And then there is a more red light as the top of the barge opens up. Finding yourself in underground.
Cool.
Nice.
And you can see, luckily you're being adjusted to using red light, that you can see the area is lit by red stones in various places around.
Okay. So I'm guessing we follow the red lights?
Looks like there is a whole community of gnomes and dwarves here. You can probably see maybe about 10,000, you guess a city size of about 10,000 here. Bigger than most of the cities of the region.
I take it this is High Forge?
This is High Forge. You've reached it in about 3 hours total, where it would where Prayer Deer won't reach it until sometime later in the day. Probably a bit after sunset.
It's nice and healthy going for a walk.
Well, yes. Not entirely the way I was expecting, but
If only Prairie was here to enjoy this moment.
And you can see that there are various metallic contraptions getting worked on around here as there. You look behind you, instead of water, there's just what appears to be 2 long metal rails heading off into the darkness.
Ah, interesting.
So, well, I would have thought the more pressing question for you guys would have been, if only Pioneer was here to know what we're actually coming here to do.
Yeah.
And so the dwarven bargeman gets out and says, "So you guys are here. You should be able to find your way around. I'm sure you've been here before." And then he walks off.
Okay.
He's alright. He spoke all that in Dwarven. You didn't understand anyway.
Drazzle, do you know your way around here?
He points out of the wagon and says, "That's off barge."
How about we ask Fitz?
So no, thank you.
And as he points that way, you see his horse get up and go off barge.
I quickly follow and get off it as soon as I can.
Yes.
You find yourself onto nicely worked stone. Everywhere around here has been hewn from the rocks itself. Part of the area around here is polished. Part of it is a little blackened. You can see that there are water pipes, pipes with something that looks a bit black and liquidy. There are gnomes walking around pushing wheelbarrows full of black rocks. Some of them with various piles of unworked dirt and stone, as they're all busily moving around doing stuff. You can see that there are some of them in lab coats, some of them in overalls and with various tools. They're all busily working away doing stuff. At the moment the horse gets out onto the group amongst them all, followed by you, they all stop and look in your direction. From the sound of industry, you have silence.
I smile nicely.
I also smile.
I'll leave it over to Fitz and go, "Did you do something wrong?"
You haven't killed anyone yet. Work on that one.
I whisper to the others, so why are we here again and how long is it until we can leave?
Well, I need to do some research, but Fred is the important one at this point, and he's not here yet.
Yes, apparently Predator jumped ship for some unknown reason.
Drazzle looks over you and says, "So Payadir dropped you in one."
He did.
Yes.
Is that the correct term, he says?
Well, I mean, you'd all be aware of Parody's aversion to metal.
We are.
So the reason would not be entirely unknown, but the reason for me coming on the barge in the first place is unknown.
Yeah.
Georgia, the Atruaghin clans are very well known for avoiding all metal in all possible ways. And
Right.
then we were just in a metal coffin.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So-
Well, even before it was a metal coffin, he was concerned about the fact that it was a metal boat.
Well, yes.
Well, I think until we can wait for Predator, we might ask Fitz to lead us around, seeing as he probably knows the area better than
Sure, I can find some, I'll find us a nice little townhouse.
yes, preferably something that
With former owners?
with what?
Okay. You don't want to know. I'll make sure.
He
He walks off.
Tyler would just nod.
Well, I mean, the point is that I'm sure everywhere's got former owners. It's just how recently they were former.
Yes.
You hear him. You hear over the distance him calling out, "I'll make sure it's a dwarven settlement."
Okay.
We'll put it this way. He's going to be able to get away with things that we can't, so whatever he does...
I'll just be following Fitz at this point.
Okay, so
Yeah. Follow him.
you all follow. Because you're so big, you actually can see over everyone, even seeing Pips moving about around the same size as everyone else.
Yeah.
And he goes up to what you'd very much find in any gnome settlement, the information point.
Oh,
Mainly
So-
because the barony of Colwyn stole it from them.
oh,
Because the gnome place is so chaotic that without someone actually being able to tell you where to go, no one would know where anything is.
even the gnomes.
Especially considering it can change from day to day.
Good point.
So as you show up there are quite a few angry gnomes asking something in a very shrill, high-pitched tone. Does anyone speak gnomish?
No. Well, I don't. Um, they're probably asking how to get away from the big scary thing.
And someone seems to be waving and pointing and gesturing in various ways to them. Apparently they're trying to give them directions.
Uh,
And after about a minute or so of that, the ones that were doing the high-pitched yelling and screaming go off in a huff. And he looks up and goes and gestures towards the next person to come up, and you see a little halfling push his way through.
okay.
Does that make him a quarterling?
Probably does. And you can see the gnome standing there, put his hand against his face. He seems to recognize the guy.
Ah, so this is a oh no you again.
Pretty much. And before the halfling even asks the question, he just points to a building nearby. And Phipps turns to you, gives a big smile, and just walks to that building.
Follow Phipps.
Walking in, you find that you've actually got what appears to be one of their diplomatic residences.
Oh.
Even has what you'd recognize if you were a visiting delegate at Darachin. Has a similar sort of design for you to have privacy, house staff, have a big team of
Okay.
advisors.
Hmm.
And you can see Phipps goes, "I've got the big room," and then he goes into one of the rooms.
Okay. Thank you. I call after him.
And not long after, you hear snoring coming from that room.
I'm going to look around a bit. Has this place actually been occupied up until a couple of hours ago? Or has it been out of use for a little while?
It looks like it is maintained, but is used rarely.
Right, so it's not Phipps turning up to somebody's house and saying, get out, we need your house.
No, there are no clothes or items hanging in here. No knickknacks or bric-a-brac besides what you'd expect to help
Harvey
advertise
snacks.
a people. So there's a whole lot of mechanical contraptions lying around that look like children's toys.
Have a look at them and just see what they are, see if I can work out how to make them go.
Most of them are you wind a key on the back and they move or make noise or do other strange things.
Alright, I won't do the ones that make noise because otherwise Phipps would get the noise and come out and do something to me.
And so yes, there are amazing contraptions here. This is the sort of stuff that made the Great Gnome Caravan a regional
Institution.
yeah. And
Yeah.
a lot of these things are dated for the years that they were made. And you can see some of these date back more than 100 years.
Okay. So of interest, but not sort of hitting me in the history.
And so each one here seems to be unique, and you think they put one in here for every year they've run the caravan.
Ah. Have a look through the dates. Sort of line them up.
Well, they're sort of all put around haphazardly at different times, and you do notice that between years, there's not much of a theme in any sort of decade. So they seem to be whatever they. It might have been what From what you can remember, it was whatever was most popular in that year.
Yep, well, that's fair enough.
And each of them has a number to say how many they produced that year. And it was showing that on average they were producing 1 to 5,000 of most items.
That's a lot of stuff.
And not all of them went to Karamikos.
Okay. So, if nothing else, some people lost a lot of money stopping this caravan.
And you also see that they have pictures on the wall showing designs of flying vehicles, underground vehicles, sea vehicles that just you've never seen the likes of. All of
Have a
them
look
made.
over that one as well.
Yeah, all of them made from metals. So Praedier's worst nightmare.
Yes. In terms of vehicles, is there anything sort of small and neat and actually no, I shouldn't nick anything from here.
So that the
Okay, after we've
smallest
got-
and sleekest things they have appear to be their flying machines. And from what you remember of them, you'd have to be lying down flat to actually fit into one.
Yeah. Plus, of
And you'd be in
course,
the cargo space.
yeah. Plus, of course, chance of failure.
So, you guys have some time to rest and relax while waiting, and Praedier, as you're wandering along, you're following the river north.
Yep.
As it gets closer to sunset, you see a couple of dwarves and gnomes with lanterns waving in your direction.
I will jog along a bit to get there quick faster and explain that, yes, my name is Parody. I'm actually looking for High Forge.
Yes, you appear to have fallen off the barge. We were sent to find you when you didn't show up. So,
Well, I do apologise for causing disturbance. I was merely looking for the opportunity to speak, but I do appreciate your coming to meet me.
yes, we're still about 3 hours south of the city. So if you come this way, and then you shoot towards a nice big metal door. We'll be there in no time, they say.
Well, 3 hours, you said.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, you decided not to take the quick route. You wanted to go the long way. You went overland. So
Yeah. It was good. It was good to stretch the legs.
we don't store much stuff above ground. We are gnomes and dwarves after all here.
Yes. Yes.
We'd like to see the sky. We just don't like to be visible in the sky.
Yes.
Too easy to be dealt with by the weather and dragons and giants these days.
So, well, okay. So I will approach with them to the door anyway.
Okay, so reaching the door. The door's about 4 foot high.
Okay. And I open it, and what's inside?
A stone passageway leading down. Lots of
Okay.
stairs. There's a nice metal hand railing going down there as well.
Okay, I think I'm nimble enough that I don't do the handrail.
And yes, you find yourself traveling with a bunch of gnomes and dwarves singing in their tongues.
Which Purity doesn't speak either. So.
Okay, so yes, so after a while you find yourself in this big red lit cavern, and he takes you to a what appears to be a human-esque sized building made out of a different coloured rock to the rest of the area. And he says, and one of them turns and says, "Your friends are resting in here waiting for you. When you're ready to talk, send someone out and we will bring who you need to you."
Well, like I say, we certainly. It was a pleasant stroll for me today. The opportunity to get away from the city for a bit, so I can be ready momentarily. If there's, I was hoping to speak with one of the gnomes who would be most likely to be connected with the great caravan that we were also coming back with.
Oh, we've got those guys currently going over their missing caravan, but I can have one of their representatives sent your way.
That would be just wonderful. Thank you very much.
He nods his head and points the direction for you to wait. Go in there and wait, and one of them will knock at the door presently.
Thank you.
Or at least sometime in the next week.
Well, let's say I will go inside and greet the others.
Okay, so stepping inside, you hear snoring sounds coming from two ends of the house.
Mm-hmm.
One of them you recognise as Drizzle and his horse.
Yep.
The other end of the house is the halfling cook.
Mm-hmm. So, is anyone awake actually in the main living area?
Absolutely everyone else.
Yep.
Right. They've been trying to sleep, but they're wide awake at the moment.
Yeah.
Just sitting cross-legged and sort of doing the elvish meditation thing.
It's like snoring.
I'm
I'm
aware.
doing the same thing.
Yeah, aware.
That's right. No, before we referred to the apparent loud snoring involved, there was no chance to sleep anyway.
Well, if they get the reverberation right, I'm sure it's soothing in some way.
You can rock with it. Yeah.
So, have you spoken to the gnomes yet?
No, we were waiting for you.
Oh. Is it good?
You were the one who was going to talk to the gnomes.
Well, yeah, I was hoping to have a quick word to them about how the caravan was going. I certainly was not expecting this to be quite the adventure that it turned out to be. So,
Well, you seem to have had a good walk.
yes, it was a pleasant walk, an opportunity to get away from the city for a bit. So,
You did jump dirigible fairly fast.
what was that say?
You did jump dirigible fairly fast.
Well, I realised that the barge was not the transport across the river that I was looking for, and when I actually saw what happened, initially what happened, but yes,
So
tell me about what did happen. The barge disappeared under the water. I expected to travel above the water. I expected to travel with it above.
Oh, it was terrible.
Oh, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, the sound of water overhead was nice, and it was a nice feeling. But
I can
the
see.
whole,
I can. Sorry, carry on.
the whole being shook back and forth was a bit unnerving, but apparently that's just the go of things.
Yeah, I can see it from the point of view of a druid, though, inside a constructed metal box for quite some time.
Yes, now that you're here, can we talk to them and get out of here?
I believe that they're going to be sending a representative momentarily.
Thank you.
Great.
Good.
What are you going to do with the ticket now that you haven't used it?
Well, I suspect it probably counted for you guys.
Did it?
We still
Well,
have it.
Huh?
Did you guys have a ticket?
No.
I don't believe so.
So that was the ticket.
And well, I mean, I don't know whether or not I don't know that I actually got a physical object as a ticket, and obviously they knew me beforehand anyway. So
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
So while you're talking about this, you hear this bang, bang, bang on the door.
I go.
I
and
will
open
go
it.
and open the door.
Okay,
we'll both
so
open it.
there is a 3-foot tall gnome with long, dirty black hair with a big wrench that was banging on the door.
Okay, I'll make a point here. As I open the door, it's going to be a gnome, so I'm going to be looking downwards.
Okay.
I don't want to open the door looking over his head.
Well,
She looks up at you and pokes you in the belly with a wrench.
Hi.
Who are you to disturb me? She says.
Greetings, ma'am.
I look at Paradir.
My name is Pedadir of the Atruaghin clan. I was hoping to speak with one of your number regarding the future plans for the caravan.
I'm the mechanic working on it, and I got pulled off working on it to come here speak to you.
I
What
do
do you want?
apologise most profusely for interfering with your important work. I was under the impression the caravan had apparently fixed itself.
Mostly.
Ah,
It's out of tune.
I can imagine it would be.
There's missing parts.
Yes.
And it
Yes,
has
I
no-
can imagine it would be.
And there's no seats or comforts or anything inside. The minibar's empty.
Do you know what the plans are once you repair it?
I was going through the plans before. They were all laid out in front of me, and we were trying to make sure we had everything that was supposed to be there.
No, I meant the future plans for the caravan itself, not the repair plans.
But we only have one set of plans. We're not rebuilding the caravan, she says, looking at you, confused.
The personnel who are likely to drive the caravan once you've repaired it.
Oh, we got to train a new crew. The last lot died.
And the plan is that new crew will be trained and that the caravan will be riding again?
Well, otherwise I've been wasting my time for the last few hours, but yes. I don't like to waste my time. I'll hit someone with my wrench if someone's going to waste my time, she says.
Well, I'm certainly not here, hopefully, to waste your time. I merely wanted to express my admiration and keen desire to see the caravan back on the road again as soon as possible, as the effects of its disappearance were marked even beyond this land.
Well,
and
of course,
I wish
it is the fabulous gnome caravan, she says in a sort of sarcastic manner.
How about we go down and we talk to you while you're working on the thing? That way we're not wasting your time.
You're not allowed in the workshop. You're not a gnome, she says as she pokes you in the knee with the wrench.
Well, we could talk from the door, I suppose.
You're not even supposed to know where it is.
I don't know where it is.
That's good.
Well,
And I'm already talking to you now, so if I'm going to be talking, I'm not going to be working.
Pretty. You should tip the lady for her time.
Where am I? 21 on insight.
Yeah.
Pedadir's happy that this gnome is somewhat abrupt. He's definitely honest and true about its intentions.
Well, she doesn't seem to be trying to hide anything to you, and she looks like she's been working on it and is eager to get back to work on it, but has been pulled over here to talk to you about stuff.
Yep. So, well, in that case, as the representative of the caravan then, may I offer you this to help ensure that it is repaired as quickly as possible and that you can get the caravan working again as soon as possible to help the local population. And Pedadir will give her the letter, the line of credit.
The what?
So the 1,000 gold from Redrian.
Okay, so she thanks you, and you can see she basically has tears in her eyes.
Okay. But yes, so as I said, that's as much as my business was concerned at this stage. I trust that you will ensure that this goes to the personnel that will need it most. And do you guys, looking back over your shoulder at the rest of them, do you guys have particular desire to stay here longer?
no.
No, very much not.
No, I think she's happy to get back to work.
Do you guys need transportation somewhere, she says?
Well, we'll be looking to get back to Kelvin briefly.
Do you need to go to Kelvin? I can get you anywhere in the world.
In the world? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
what method do you use to do that?
Well, it depends on where you're going. We have things that go boom, things that sort of shush about, things that whoosh, and things that sort of bounce around a lot. As she's gesturing with her
I'm
hands, doing
thinking
various
that
movements.
The potentially we could just return to the surface and hail halfling barge to cross the river.
But where do you want to do that for? Those things are slow.
He's not that far distance.
There are personal issues we have to deal with. I think we're going to have to take the halving barge.
I do have tablets that get rid of personal issues.
There's a tablet for that?
Well,
Yeah, possibly explosively.
Okay, it just occurred to me as a player the fact that actually Penadeo effectively arrived early evening, didn't he?
Yep, he did.
So presumably we'll probably potentially stay the night here and leave in the morning, unless people have particular objection.
Nope.
No.
If we have to.
Okay, Penadeo's more comfortable at least because it's at least stone, not metal here. So.
It's a step up from metal, not the best, but...
But you do notice all the finely crafted metal toys around the room.
Well, thank you, milady. We'll actually rest for the evening, and if you're able to ensure, or we can talk to the no, because Penadeau wasn't there to know about the information booth just over there, was he? So, but yes, we'll return to the surface in the morning.
Tyler would like to ask Predator, and this is in character, if he knows the difference between tip and life savings.
You mean after the dwarf is gone, or the gnome's gone?
Yes, after the gnome's gone.
What do you mean?
Well,
I'm sure that the expenses of a caravan like that do such a great service for the entire land.
well,
It seems a worthy cause.
I guess if you put it that way, yes, but so far all we know is that you've given it to this single person. We don't know that it's going to the caravan.
She was trustworthy.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll just accept that as it is.
Okay, so you guys rest, and one thing you do notice is the light levels don't change.
Okay.
Right.
So the light levels you came in at are the same as what they are now. It's been many hours.
There's no night or day cycle here.
I guess I could use my orb of time to work out what time it is.
It does help. It means that for you it says it is evening.
Okay.
So you have basically 4 times of day it tells you. It's either evening, morning, afternoon, or I think it's twilight or something like that. It has 4 different periods.
Yeah, I think the last one is get some sleep.
Yes.
Sleep time.
Yes, you probably get dawn, midday, sunset, midnight.
Possibly.
And you would have arrived about midday, and it's now sunset.
Part of it depends on who owned it, though, or who made it, because it'll be culturally determined.
So it does morning, afternoon, evening, or nighttime.
Okay, there you go. So
they're the basic actions.
So they're not actually an even distribution of time.
Yep.
So
three times during the day and 1 time before you should be sleeping.
Yeah.
Well, yes. So I do apologise for distracting us and delaying us a bit longer than I expected. I was not expecting to actually arrive here in this sort of manner. So.
And as you're saying that, you're picked up from behind and given a big hug.
Drazzle missed you, by the way.
That's right. And okay, I will aim to wriggle out of the hug a bit and explain to Drazzle. And remember, we've got to see the Baron tomorrow.
Which Baron? He says.
to Baron Kelvin.
Oh, okay. I can send horse.
That is not appropriate.
That would not work very well.
You might want to let Drazzle know that his horse kind of scratching its own back with a upside down head is kind of mooch to the point of a disguise.
Well,
It's a giveaway. Yeah.
Penedy has mentioned that to Drazzle before that yes, if his horse is going to maintain the disguise, or his mount is going to maintain the disguise, it's got to practice more horse-like characteristics.
So Drazzle tries to do a human smile, and you sort of see it really looks really weird on his human-looking face.
Yeah.
It sort of looks like he's about to eat you, sort of look.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Is that better?"
A little less smile.
Doesn't seem to change with his little less smile.
Oh dear.
Mm.
We'll have to get you some.
Drazzle, you don't need to put as much effort into it as your mount.
Well, I teach mount same way.
Oh dear. That explains a few things. Yes, basically tone it down rather a lot. We may have to get you an acting coach.
But I really like a real coach, not an acting one. I've got real coach. See, he points outside to his wagon.
Yeah. Wrong type of coach.
There are different coaches? More wheels?
Different. I'll explain later.
So before we bed down, then Penedy will take the opportunity to get to know Arena better, but also confirm that the plan will be to leave in the morning, potentially catch a halfling barge across the river, and return to Kelvin briefly to pick up belongings before getting a barge down to Speculatum.
Hmm.
Is that the sort of plan that people think is worthwhile?
Yep, sounds good.
During Penedy's march upriver,
Yep.
did he actually see the barges on a moderately regular basis coming down?
You see basically barges going both ways fairly regularly.
Yep. So yeah, he has confidence that we can pick a ride to get across.
Yeah.
This far upriver is only halfling barges.
Yep.
Okay.
They've cornered the market.
Well, we saw what happened to the dwarven attempt. We worked out the halflings didn't need to corner the market; they just convinced the opposition they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not too hard when the opposition's not particularly bright.
No, that's right.
Or in the worst case, Drazzle, he's not that old.
Yes, he wasn't quite bored yesterday, but close enough.
Yep. Okay, so after a couple more hours, there is a gong,
Okay.
and you hear a cheer go through the city.
I'm guessing that's home time?
What's
We'll
the
poke a head out the door and see what the commotion is.
Apparently, they're celebrating a new day,
Oh, okay.
I see.
and you can hear the sounds of music and different songs going in various parts of the city.
But it clearly doesn't feel like it's been 8 or so hours since I arrived. I'm guessing.
It does feel like that. It's been a while.
Okay, that's all right then. Like we've had a sleep and.
You've had a sleep. You've had a talk. You've had some
Oh,
food.
okay, cool. Happy with that then.
And
Yep.
and from what you can tell, that the city is going at the same pace it did the moment you arrived. They didn't seem to slow down at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going about it at all points of the day.
Very good. So, then, yep, we'll come out. Is Fitz planning on coming with us at this stage?
Well, he's happy to follow along as you guys are doing something interesting. He really liked that barge. He's disappointed he couldn't actually see where it entered the water, but he'll work on that one.
Well, okay. Penadier's basically looking to see whether or not he can actually remember the path we took to get here, and take that path. If he can't, then you'll be looking around to see if there's any likely opportunities to get directions.
There is some person nearby who seems to be pointing people in various directions. They come up asking him something and he'd point.
Okay, another guy.
But does Penadier think that he could remember the path that took him here?
No.
No?
You
Okay.
never really saw it clearly because it was mainly in dim light, and the light that they were using was not particularly far.
Yep, okay.
It was enough for you to see where to step, not enough for you to actually look around you.
Yep, and likewise, yes. Whilst I expect that the first half or three quarters of the trip might well have been a single path all the way, I expect the last part, when we got to the city area, was somewhat more confusing.
Yeah.
You probably went through about 30 or 40 different tunnels to reach the city.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so as you approach the guide, he shoos the other people out of the way and comes up to you and says, I've been asked to express thanks to you for your donation and be able to offer you first seats on whichever transport you want out of here.
Well, we were merely looking for the route to the surface, and then we would return to Kelvin.
How quickly would you like to go? We have the express, we have the oh my god, why did we pick this one, and we have the my bad.
Can we have?
We have all day.
Can we have these so slow it's boring? Please?
Well, we don't really sell tickets to those. We do have the stairs.
The tickets are not necessary. As I say, I'm happy that if you can direct me to the way that I came in when I arrived at the surface, then we'll make our own way back down the river to Kelvin, and be most appreciative of your service.
So, and they turn over to Total because Total seemed to want to ask something.
I would have asked Fitz which one has he taken before, which one does he recommend?
Oh, the oh my god one, why'd I pick this one, was the best choice ever.
Okay, I'll say if Fitz goes with that one, I'll take that with Fitz.
Okay, best in what way, Fitz?
New experiences are fantastic, and I'd have to say that I had never experienced anything like that in my life.
That's also
see,
true of being stabbed in the face.
What you should be asking...
That I've had done 3 times, he says.
What you should be asking is, of those 3 options, which one was the barge that you took to get here?
None of them.
Whereas Penadier, he's certainly not interested in any of the options that are being provided. He's interested in the one to get to the surface, and he's happy to walk.
Well, these are all going to the surface, right? All 3 of these?
Oh, surface? Well, they all
I got the impression that they were offered going directly to Kelvin.
Oh, are they?
The oh my god one goes over Kelvin, you jump.
Ah.
Oh, right.
There's no one short of that.
The one that was the really bad choice one, you got to guess where Kelvin is.
Also not the best.
And then there's the other one that you can sort of get out when you get close to the surface.
Sort of?
Sort of get out.
Yeah.
Is this a jump and hope the best?
Sort.
Well, most people don't have to hope.
Because they don't make it?
No, they make it.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
They know they've got no hope. It's not worth hoping.
The ones that don't make it too well are, oh my god, I chose this route.
See, here's the thing. Title trusts Fibs, but this also sounds like a bad idea.
He says, oh, it is a bad idea. It's definitely a bad idea.
Oh.
But I love
so
it.
fun.
There's
Anything
nothing
where
like
it's sort of-
flying when you're actually jumping off with nothing strapped to you except for this little bit of cloth that's supposed to stop you from dying.
What's the cloth called?
I don't know. They call it a chute. Somehow it shoots you.
Does
Or
it
they
work?
shoot you with it on. Yeah.
I can't remember.
Well, you're here.
Well, apparently, I landed in a safe place.
Does it happen often?
Apparently. Did you lose
They called
consciousness
it. They
or
called it a 1 in a million chance.
Oh.
Oh,
But that's okay. It's happened 9 times out of 10.
right.
Hmm. As trust.
So I managed to return one of their shoots unused.
Oh, God.
Okay. Well, as trusting as Paddle is of Vips, I think I will pass on that at the moment.
Yeah. Let's go for something a little slower and less fraught.
And less sudden stops.
Yes. Yes.
So okay, I think my other computer has decided it's not working again.
Oh dear.
Oh, the screen just dropped off. Okay, so as your which method did you want to take to get to the surface?
The walk.
He points over to what looks to be a door at the far end of the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, if you take that, in 3 days' time, you'll reach the surface.
3 days.
Well, okay. The pathway that I took down only took an hour or two.
Yes, but the pathway you took down is currently underwater.
Oh.
And is it likely to clear later in the day? Going to tire your thing?
Oh no, they're doing a clean out. They basically went and got you right before they started their annual cleaning.
Okay, so what's the next slowest way to get there? Or less fraught?
Well, the less fraught one is that there's that big bag of gas over there that's strapped to this little basket that you just sit in and it goes up. Apparently, you just have to talk at it and it fills up and it goes away. At least that's what my brother says. I can just talk at it and it will fly. I'm full of hot air, he says.
Yeah, I think he's having to go at you.
Azira says, look, if it was just me, I would go for the slingshot method and just turn into a bird once I'm in the air and
Oh, that
slowly
sounds
fly
wonderful. We
down.
can try that. Can we send
But-
everyone up in that
Well,
slingshot?
that sounds fine then.
No.
Let's go with that one then.
That's
How
good
big
for-
of a bird can I turn into? Okay, maybe pick someone up.
Not.
No, you're
That-
still only medium size, I'd expect at best.
Um,
Or maybe large, but
what level are you at the moment?
should be 6.
Yeah.
Which means you can't even turn into something that can fly.
Oh.
Not yet.
So a
So you can
flightless
turn
bird.
You could turn into an ostrich or an emu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just turn into an emu that's just going through the sky.
Or a very surprised looking wolf.
Turn into a flying fox.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, you can probably slow yourself down even if you can't fly.
Or a cat. They seem to parachute quite well.
For what?
Cat.
Oh, cat. Yeah.
Because they're very much like flying foxes, and their skin actually acts as a parachute.
Yeah, it's just not half as effective as a flying fox's one.
Yeah.
Is that they can't glide, they're just slow.
Yes.
Which is amusing, so if they're high enough off the ground, they'll survive a fall. But if they're in that middle ground between being able to land normally and being able to catch themselves with the air,
Yep.
that's the point they don't like.
Yep, it's more dangerous for a cat to fall from a second-story balcony than a 10th-story balcony.
So we have the choice of 3 days walk, slingshot.
I guess we need some rations.
He points to what appears to be some dwarven building. He says that they make some good hearty rations there, guaranteed to put a bit on your face. They say that's
Interesting.
their slogan.
That's,
Well, as long as they can satisfy for 3 days.
It never goes off. We've tried.
Oh, God. It's not necessarily a recommendation for some of us.
We've even managed to shoot some of them out into orbit and bring it back, and it's still edible.
Or at least
I-
just edible.
I'm not going to ask how you did and where that is.
Little bit Laughlin.
Well, I'm just wondering. Look, I don't. What orbit is? I'm not. I'm not asking.
He does this gesture around his head. It's like when things float above and don't come crashing down straight away.
You're a wizard. Obviously, it's got about ironstones.
Quite possibly. Yes. I'll go with that.
So ironstones, he says, orbit your noggin, whereas when we throw things up and they orbit the world, they orbit over everything else. So it's like they circle a mountain, but the world's mountain.
I'm just not going to think about that right now.
I'm going to start heading to the Dwarven Rations place with Phipps.
Yep. Phipps is saying, so can we burn this one down?
Not yet.
No.
But when you tell me we can, it's done.
Okay.
You said not yet?
Yeah.
So is it now?
No.
Oh, okay. And he happily walks in. So as you enter, you see that this place has lots and lots of different types of food around. All seem to be made from various sorts of animals. Pictures of the animals above it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can have fish ration, you can have guinea pig ration, you can have fox ration, you can have flightless bird ration, you can have flightful bird ration, you can have here is the crested pigeon, here is a normal pigeon, and it's basically all various types of meats dried and salted.
And of course, their main delicacy, rat on a stick.
That's for the dwarves.
Where do you think we are?
Well, there is that.
And then off to the side, they have this sort of jelly-like substance where all these gnome kids seem to be coming in and buying.
I'm going to ask Phipps what
Again,
that
I'm
is.
not going to.
Oh, he says, that's just animal fat
Oh. I'll pass.
with sugar.
I'll pass.
Apparently, makes them go faster.
Well,
Yeah.
Sometimes they hard boil it as well, and then you can actually get things to stick to it.
Yeah. Martin,
Yep.
for the research that I'm trying to do, this is this where I want to be to do that research, or do I have to go sort of up the top?
You'd think you'd have to go to Rockholm to do most of the research because
Actually, Rockholm.
yeah, because Highforge is more of a gnomish settlement than
Yeah.
that. They do have a lot of stuff here, but you generally have to spend a lot of time here to be trusted enough for them to take you into their workshops and their shrines.
Yeah. Yes, I will have to get there at some point soon.
But at least you know that you could probably re-enter here, having been here before.
Yes.
whether you want to is a different question.
Yeah.
Each place has a unique feel.
Penedy is happy to get a selection of rations.
Yep.
To last him, say, 5 days worth.
They even have
including some of the sugared pig fat.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Zero passes.
Is there? What was that, Giorgio?
Oh, zero passes on most of the rations.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll return to the information booth, let's say, and saying, well, is it possible to get a map or something that would allow it to direct the pathway to get to the surface?
He says if there was, there wouldn't be a need for me. They keep changing tunnels on me on a daily basis.
Well, 3 days sounds like a long way to travel, and it sounds like it'll be easy to get lost.
Oh, you won't get lost. It's basically you spend about 4 hours traveling, wait for them to finish revolving, and then walk up another 3 hours travel, wait for it to finish revolving, and keep doing that until you get to the surface.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes, you're walking up one of their air shafts.
Oh.
And they've got to turn off the shut down various parts of it so you don't get decapitated on the way out.
How is this safer than slingshot?
Being.
Well, we
Because it
don't
won't
generally
actually
send people up
kill
that
you.
way because well, it's dangerous.
Sorry, he didn't say this way was safer than slingshotting.
This is just a walk.
They don't normally send people to the surface because it's dangerous up there. There's big
Okay.
people.
Is there a route that we can use to get back to the city we're in that doesn't involve any of us making a death save roll or a dex check?
Yes, you take one of these tablets, pass out, and wake up where you want to be, and ask no questions.
While your money's missing.
Okay, that actually gets to more worrying. I'm not going to want to know what the tablet actually does, do I?
Oh no, it just knocks you out, he says.
While you do whatever.
And then we get you to where your destination is in one piece. We'll just put you in this nice, safe parcel, so you don't hurt yourself on travel.
Excellent.
It's even padded on the inside.
They'll punch air holes into the box.
Oh,
Well, I'm presuming that's what the tablet's for.
no, the tablet, so we don't need to, he says.
Yeah.
I'm almost tempted to take the hot air balloon at this point.
It does sound like a reasonable option.
I'm actually thinking it actually does come to the less fraught option. The terrifying bit's relatively quick, unlike most of the other ones.
Yes.
And we have Lowell, so we won't have any lack of hot air.
Thank you. It's nice to be needed.
However, will the basket be big enough for everybody?
Oh yeah, the basket is. He gestures his hands really big. You
Okay,
can
how
take
far-
many people.
Everybody includes a horse and carriage.
Well, it's taken one of the each basket can easily take one of the gnome caravans on it.
That's pretty big.
Well, perhaps we should go and inquire of their services.
He rings a bell, and someone rushes over from a pile of ropes and pulleys, and says, "How may I help you, sirs?" Someone's bought a
to the
ticket.
surface.
Oh, you want a trip to the surface? I can arrange that right now if you step this way.
Hang on. Can we get more details?
Yes, you put one foot after the other, and you come over here.
No,
You stand where I tell
not
you
sort
to.
of
I pull the
deep
lever. You go up, and when you want to stop going up, you say stop, and then I let you off there.
And we're walking towards the balloon.
Yeah. Well, you're walking towards the platform. You can see all these pulleys and ropes coming off the platform.
Sounds like more of a slingshot than a balloon ride.
Well, actually, no, it sounds more like an elevator, depending on what way you go that.
Yeah, there is the distinction between rising and being slung.
I'm gonna ask Phipps if he's taken this lifting mechanism before.
So,
Oh yeah,
okay,
he's
so
done
we were
it before.
expecting to be heading towards the balloon. We were expecting to head towards the balloon, but obviously haven't gone to the balloon. We've just gone to a platform, and I'll inquire as to how does the system work.
Oh, and he starts going into this big description of transference of energy, heat, and other stuff. And while he's doing this, he's starting to pull levers, turn knobs. He kicks a spoke, and then he just makes something twirl, and you can hear him doing a clank clank noise out of the side of his mouth. And as he's doing this, you see that balloons are starting to rise up around the outside of the platform you're on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you reckon, Phipps?
The balloons are around the platform, not above it.
Oh.
Yeah. So what we're still looking at is the slingshot. It's just that they've got a cushioning landing.
And yeah.
And as he's doing this, you can sort of see that you're slowly rising up off the floor of the gnome caverns.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Can we see anything above us?
Yes, you apparently are following up guidelines all the way up to the ceiling.
But not necessarily an opening that we can see.
Not at this stage.
Right.
But you're sort of going up about a meter a minute.
So not very fast yet.
No.
Well,
slowed
I
up the
suspect
walking.
that by the sound of the other option of climbing up the air shaft, a metre a minute might be actually quite quick compared to what some of you are likely to be doing after the first 3/4 of a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, well, let's risk it then.
Hmm.
I always wanted my head slapped against the ceiling.
Okay.
Actually, look,
Yep.
the odd thing is, Penedy is actually not unhappy with this particular option. It's not metal. It's not full of metal, or not only metal. And if something goes wrong, he can fly.
About halfway up, he pulls up a contraption off the side of the levers and pulleys he's been doing. It's pretty much like pedals, and as he pulls it out, you can see something fold out behind him. And as he starts twirling it with his hands, you start seeing these hands spinning behind you as he starts pushing along the cavern.
Huh, okay.
So he's going by a pedal power.
Fair enough.
After watching him for a few minutes doing this, Penedy will offer. How long do you do that for? Do you need someone else to take over?
Oh, you want to use it? He gestures for you to and shows you how to use it.
Are we talking metal handles and stuff here?
Yep.
Okay, Penedy wasn't offering to do it. He was just asking us to surprise that apparently this one person's going to be doing it all the time. So.
Yes, but he's just stopped doing it, so now we're concerned that there's no one riding this thing. So,
Yeah.
I think Taito's now a bit worried. Yes, Taito's very worried.
Yes, so Penedy was don't know that's designed for any of us. The size is not quite what any of us can actually manipulate effectively.
Oh, I'm sure you could have worked it out. He says as he goes back to pedaling.
Okay.
Calms down now that we've actually got someone on the pedal again.
And he reaches over and hits a bell. Basically he does about 20 different whacks on the bell and doing some sort of pattern.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna lean over to Phipps and go, what's the matter?
And then we start to see the ceiling open.
He just shrugs and says some sort of gnomish code.
Okay.
I'm sure it means something useful, such as I'm here, open up, I brought fish. Who knows?
I have to remember that one.
And you can see a grinding sound in front of you as two massive doors seem to be pulling apart from each other.
Mm-hmm.
As it opens, you can see sitting on the other side of the door about 3 or 4 different dirigibles. And some of those mechanical flying vehicles they have.
Ah. Some kind of sky platform thing.
And he seems to be trying to head towards it in a roundabout sort of way.
Okay, this is getting a little worrying. That's right, all of this is worrying. So I'm just going to sit here in quiet terror.
You're doing well if you're only at the getting to be a little worrying.
So after about 3 hours of him pedaling across the city, you finally reach the opening that he called for.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost there. And then you find yourself popping out into some sort of slipstream as it is pulled out through the opening. So fastest has travelled when he finally gets it to a point he doesn't need it anymore. And then you find yourself up to the surface within moments.
Oh wow.
So it's taken you about 3 hours to cross a cavern that you could have walked across in 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then at less than a minute to cross something that would have taken you 4 days to walk up.
Oh, right. Well, that's useful.
And as you pop up to above the surface, you see it's about not far after dawn as you crest out into the sky. And he says, "Do you want me to land anywhere nearby here?"
I think we're going to where are we going?
Well, Kelvin was our first main stop, but
Yeah.
we're not expecting you to take us all the way there.
Well, this one's still tethered. He says, I can probably drop you near the opening or take you up to one of the sky towers.
If we're able to get off at the surface, that would be good.
Okay, and he pops one of the bags
What?
as it starts to descend, with the hissing sound of the air going.
The external surface.
And basically you see the ground come up rapidly, and you then hit the ground and bounce.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Yes, landed.
Didn't
kill anyone this
jump
time.
off very rapidly.
Yes, you felt that.
You can see Drazzle sort of pick himself up the railing with these really big claw marks where he'd been hanging on.
Yeah.
So we on the surface?
And then you find yourself on the surface, and you can see probably about a mile away is the river.
Okay.
And a nice hilly wooden area between now and there. And looking behind you, you can't even see the entrance that you came out of.
Okay.
Alright, right lead the way.
And as you go, you can see him start winding and playing with levers again as another balloon seems to inflate out of the one he popped.
Yeah, let's get out of here before this thing goes up and away.
Benedict's already moving.
Getting all of our stuff off, and yeah.
And Drazzle's horse comes off with his little carriage.
Yep.
With the disturbing back door.
Now that we're in the fresh air, I just take really big, deep breaths and I just fully relax.
As you take a deep breath, you see above you something glinting with metal going across your vision, and the sound of horrendous, torturing explosions going up above you.
So
My
how
shoulders and
relaxing. Scream.
Oh.
So basically,
What kind of environment are we in now?
you're in the open sky, and you can it's your first view of a gnomish biplane.
Ah, that's what it is.
So yeah, rattles and makes horrible noises and flies overhead. But other than that, we're in a piece of open land with sort of bushes and grass and stuff.
Yep, this is basically their we don't have an entrance here location.
That's okay.
That's what they named this place.
Faraday can show us the route you took, can't you?
You can see the river.
Okay, Benedict heading towards the river.
Yep.
Right. We will follow Faraday. Hopefully.
I follow, but first I turn into a fox and I scamper around and enjoy not being in underground.
It is a fabulous feel, except for the fact that all the grass around you is fake.
Oh,
What?
nice.
It's plastic.
That's very disappointing.
Well, from our point of view, it's solid wax. Yeah. Okay, let's go to somewhere that's actually green, rather than painted green.
I back that.
Yeah.
And yes, and you head towards the river, and the closer you get to the river, the more natural plants you come across as you go there.
This
Good.
is natural, this is not.
So you do see Drizzle has been eating the plastic plants along the way.
Drizzle? Weird.
I'm not sleeping next to Jazzle tonight.
No. No. A good thought, that. Drizzle, why are you eating those weird plants that aren't plants?
Haven't eaten before, always good to try.
I remember my history that says that many dragons can eat anything,
And you see
and I will leave him go.
he also has a selection of animals he got pieces of from the Dwarven place.
Right.
He labelled them all.
I'm just not... Yeah.
Benedict actually, whilst he's quite happily leading the party down to the riverbank as rapidly as the safe direction will allow, he's actually quite interested in the in Azaria's transformation. In the sense that,
An actual
When I'm
druid.
a fox, I can't talk, can I?
No, you can't.
Okay. So I'm just being a fox, just chilling.
You can chitter at him and make noises and basically do charades.
Oh, the fun noises you can make as a fox. Yeah. However, if you meet a gnome, gnomes can speak to woodland creatures. So you can talk to a gnome.
I don't know.
Or hire a translator.
I don't know about you, but Penalty think you've met enough gnomes in his lifetime. Thanks very much.
That's true.
This is Pipsa. No, Pipsa half.
He's a halfling.
Yeah.
No. But okay, from Penalty's perspective, it's the idea of a member of the animal spirits, but not one of the clan folk totems. Because there's no fox totem.
No.
Okay, so it takes you about an hour to reach the river.
Could we see any traffic on the river when we arrive there?
Yes, you do see traffic along the river, and as you get closer, they seem to veer towards the bank where you are.
Okay. Is it going upriver or downriver?
This one was going upriver.
Okay.
It says, "Ho, travellers, how may we help?"
Well, we're just heading downriver to Kelvin at this stage. So, are these halflings in a barge?
They are in a barge. They could fit most of you on the barge.
Okay.
No.
We're not expecting you to be going out of your way, but if you were available for transport, we are happy to pay.
Well, he'll take 1 gold to take the lot of you. Well, as much as he can. He doesn't think he can fit your horse on here.
Well, I guess we may have to walk a bit further southwards then.
Drazzle says, Drazzle not mind, Drazzle swim. He drags horse into the river, and you just see the horse just walk right into the river and go under the water.
And the caravan following along behind?
Yep.
Okay, well...
Well, that solves that problem then.
So,
Yeah.
Penalty will pull out a small gem.
He's the
Will
water
this
token
satisfy?
dragon.
Trazzle will do Trazzle.
And Drazzle's actually sitting on the wagon as it goes underwater.
Yeah, it does surprise. You know what? I'm
Yeah.
just going to swim with Trazzle and follow because it's funny.
Yeah.
If Trazzle doesn't mind.
It seems to be singing a tune that's gotten popular recently about Let It Go.
Oh, that one. Yes, it's
I'm looking forward to the possibility of either learning the teleport spell, the mass teleport spell, or finding some way to use it as a ritual.
You're going to have one significant problem with your teleport spell.
Yeah.
You won't be able to bring your staff.
Oh, that is a point. Flight then. Mass
So
flight.
so Penadere will bring it. We'll pull out a small gem.
Yep.
Probably worth about 5 gold. And will this satisfy for transport for those of us who are still left?
Well, 1 gold would have satisfied for everyone. 5 gold is more than what I asked for, and more than happy to feed you as well.
As you said, they just pulled out a small gem. So
Yep. He gestures and says, "Did you need me to help anyone aboard, such as your fox or your disturbingly looking halfling over there, who reminds me of someone I don't really want to know?"
Yeah,
and for that gem, you don't need to know.
Thank you. I agree to that. I will just sit over this side of the barge, whistle quietly, and take you wherever you want to go.
Well, as I say, I believe we're quite close to Kelvin. So, and thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. He turns his barge around and takes you to Kelvin. It only takes him about 3 to 6 hours to get there.
Cool.
I've turned back into my elf self, by the way.
Well, yeah. So Penadere, if you've turned it back into yourself when you're on the barge, Penadere will take the opportunity to talk to you about your connection with the animal spirits and that kind of thing. Because certainly, yes, from his perspective,
It's his job.
Animal shapeshifters are certainly an important part of his culture.
Mm.
So,
Yes.
as you're following Drelzel, you notice that his carriage is designed to go underwater.
Oh.
It doesn't provide any breathing gear, but it is water dynamic.
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
I'll take note of that. I'm also hoping Jason knows that.
And it's also very disturbing watching his horse swim.
Yes, it's this weird uncanny valley kind of thing.
It's very serpentine as it's moving through the water.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a serpentine horse.
I'm just going to make
Yes.
notes later to let Jason
Yeah.
know the approach to do the public.
Yeah. It's just got this waft of fluff on the end, like all horses do, but it's using it to drive itself through the water at some speed. Yeah.
Okay.
So you asked-
the program to the swimming animation.
Yeah.
So
So I'm
you're
guessing
asking
we're
me
getting
if
back into Kelvin potentially shortly before they would have closed the gate.
You will have. And Georgia, what were you saying?
Oh, so you're asking me about my connection to like nature and why I became a Jew?
Well, certainly from Penedict's perspective, his initial thought is that it's a natural shapeshift itself. Talking about being a druid, kind of that, like I say, when we discuss further and you talk about the fact of being a druid, then he's certainly still interested, but not in the quite same manner.
Right.
Because yes, it's certainly something he's a bit surprised initially on the fact that from his people's perspective, yes, natural shapeshifters are
Honoured.
honoured. That's right.
Okay, so you.
But as I say, he also hadn't actually recognised any, like foxes were certainly not amongst the natural shapeshifters that he was aware of. So.
Okay, so you reach the city of Calvin without any problems, and as you're sitting there getting off the barge, you see the blue drake climb out of the river, followed by Drazzle without his disguise.
Oh,
Why is
Basil,
using
I thought you'd want your disguise on.
He sort of looks he looks surprised. He seems something happened to his disguise while he was underwater.
Well,
Oh. Can you turn it back on?
And people are all looking at shocked as you see a drake crawl out of the river with a dragonborn on its back.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the river's done something to both your disguises.
Yep.
But remember, Lul, aren't you on the barge?
This is after you guys have arrived.
Yeah.
It weren't they in front of us?
They were following the barge.
Oh, okay.
They could have beaten you there, but we're also finding that for them.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's just like I got the impression they were leading at least initially. So
I'm assuming that I come out after Drazzle and the now lizard thing.
You see him adjust the straps, and the drake fade back to this nice looking horse that is overly large. And then Drazzle readjusts his hat and turn back into the awkwardly looking large human.
Did Drazzle just do this in front of people?
Yep.
Basil, you've just told people what you look like when you're not in, when you're using human form.
He shrugs.
I'm not going to bother saying Drazzle at this point. Drazzle to do Drazzle.
He shakes out the water and just walks on, leaving the stream of water behind his carriage.
Yeah.
That's fine. I will just follow in Drazzle's footsteps.
no. Well, Penedict is actually aiming to move quickly, return to the inn, collecting his belongings, and saddling up the elk and paying up the innkeeper.
Your elk is very well brushed.
Looking to leave.
So as you come back with your well brushed elk, he seems a bit disappointed that he doesn't get another brushing.
I will thank the boy again.
And he says, Drazzle paid me to make sure he was well brushed.
You did a good job. Thank you.
That's so good, he's scary.
Yes, well,
He's scary.
don't look now.
Just out of curiosity, did you have a partner or another apprentice or something who was brushing?
Yes, that's why he's scary.
Okay, right.
Yes.
Yep.
It did.
Never mind.
So, had you guys left anything at the inn as such?
I think there's a couple of belongings and stuff. We can always pick up some more rations if need be.
Well, no, but like it was sort of thing that if you guys had, like as I said, Perdita was planning on coming back, but you guys weren't necessarily planning on coming back. If you guys hadn't left stuff there, or if you only left a little stuff that Perdita could collect, as Perdita moves off, he'd be happy to say, if you guys don't need to go to the inn, I'd go straight out of town.
Okay.
Drazzle meet Baron?
Not
Wait,
right now.
Drazzle wait, then meet Baron.
As I say, did you guys need to get to the inn?
No.
I don't.
Got everything,
Okay.
I think.
I would suggest that you escort Draxel and his mount and his carriage straight out of town before it attracts further attention.
Well, if you guys need to go see the Baron, I can go keep Drowser company with Phipps out the front.
I don't necessarily say. If we get the opportunity to not see the Baron at this stage, I think that would be good.
I think it's probably reasonable. Let's off ski.
Okay, alright.
Okay. So Drazzle happily sings one of his hit songs that he's been listening to.
I'm going to start walking behind Drazzle as we head out the X, I assume.
Yep. You start heading
And
for the main
Benedict's
gates.
returned to the inn to settle up there rapidly. And
You get there and you find that it had already been paid for.
well, thank you. Thank you for the service.
Yeah.
And yes, I will meet the other guys at the south gate of Kelvin.
Yep.
Or
Okay.
whichever gate was closest to the part of the port when we came in.
Well, the north gate was closest to the one you came in, but you really
Okay,
want to get
I'd
to
be
the south
saying,
gate.
get out there and we'll go around the city on the way out.
The city itself is built such that the southern gate actually is the bridge over the river, and the northern gate heads. It just goes north. There is no way around it
Oh.
because you're at the meeting point of two rivers.
Oh, okay. I had it. We were a bit. Yeah, okay.
Well, technically you're the meeting point of three rivers, but one of the rivers is a little upstream.
Well, that's it. I'll look on the map that I've got. It was Kelvin's about 8 miles north of the.
So it's where the High Reach and the Hillfollow River is where it actually is situated.
Yeah. But okay, but it's north of the Castellan River.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, sorry. The Castellan River is the High Reach River. So.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yep. Well, that's right. Let's say we'll work out another way to get across the river if we need to at that point, because Penadere is certainly keen for Drazzle and his mount to be nowhere near town.
He happily goes back into the river if that's what you suggest he does.
Well, as I said, Penadere basically said, I'll meet you outside of town, I'll get the stuff, take him away.
So Drazzle's happy to follow the main road all the way from the north gate to the south gate.
Yep, I'll just follow Drazzle.
Okay, so Jeremy, you notice that there is a procession of guards escorting them out of town.
Okay, that could be worse.
Yeah, they could be being chased out of town or thrown out.
And,
Well, no, my bigger concern was that they were not being taken out of town at all.
That's true.
mostly, you do know that there is a reputation that anything of draconic origins is treated with respect unless it's attacking.
Yes.
But respect me, we're going to leave you out of town nicely.
Yeah. Respect means that, okay, we're not immediately going to execute you for using arcane magic within Kelvin.
There is that.
Exactly. So.
Okay, so yes, and he also belongs to a religion that's not allowed to be practiced here either.
Yeah.
So he's doubly.
As far as we're aware, he can actually, well, no, he can specifically practice that, obviously. So.
Okay, so yes, it takes them an hour to cross the city and out the other side. And the guards basically clear everyone out of the way. So you find yourselves out of the southern end of Calvin, one of the cleanest cities that you've ever been in.
Yep.
With more decay in it than you've seen in the time you've been here so far.
And some of the scariest social restrictions, so let's be away.
No, the end was pretty cool.
The idea of if you're using arcane magic, you're bad, with no recourse, is not something I want to be hearing.
Well, hey, not even druidic magic is allowed here.
Yes, that's true. Non-clerical magic of any kind is illegal, or at least very strongly discouraged with large sticks.
And all laws have the same punishment.
Yes.
And as you're heading out, you see that there is a group of 6 black-scaled dragonborn nearby.
Okay, that's something to worry about.
They're about 6 foot tall.
Are they going towards the city?
They're arguing with the guard at the city gate.
Can we sort of sidle over there and have a bit of a listen?
They say that they're here in honor of the dragon gods, and they're on that pilgrimage passing through, and they demand the right of entry. And that they do note in there, especially of one of the lesser races.
We know they're.
You've never heard Drazzle talk to anyone that arrogantly.
Yeah, they're one of the lot known to be bad. Ones who've fought before.
Have we had Black Dragonborn before?
We have.
You've seen Black Dragonborn. You've seen various other ones of them.
I thought we said like it was Blue Dragonborn that were attacking the fort originally, weren't they?
It was the Blue Dragonborn.
Yeah, remember we got a specific note that blue and black cults are usually enemies and at present are working together.
Okay, so I just remember there was Blue was involved in the fort early on, but yeah, I couldn't remember Black being there. So
yeah, they were elsewhere, but we from memory we had Fort Black as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, remember Leeson, the guy who recruited me as a dragon crafter?
No,
okay.
It's not like Heritage. He wasn't involved in that. So.
Oh no, he wasn't there. Yeah, he's a specific student of dragon cults, and he informed us of the alliance between blue and black cults that are normally at each other's throats, and they're presently working against everyone else, well, presumably everyone else, and with whom we have no idea.
So
it's a bit worrying.
So do these pilgrims need to be eliminated?
We shouldn't just go around attacking people just because they exist.
No, I wasn't suggesting that.
The only thing I would do at this point is warn the guard of what they may be likely to do, because for all we know, there could be sort of some of the rare non actually evil ones.
Oh, okay, good. Benedict hasn't met black ones at all, I don't think.
Yeah, but
Drazzle taps you on the shoulder and says, "They're a bit young."
They're a bit young to be a problem.
They look like
a bit young to
2-year-old.
be.
He says they're 2-year-olds.
Okay. But if they're off to go on a pilgrimage, they may be off to go being trained and turned into proper cultists. Maybe you could recruit them as followers and train them how to be a proper dragonborn.
Yes, because we need more dragons following this party.
Yeah, but it'll distract you.
Well, I don't disagree with Razzle having an army. It worries me greatly.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a point.
He takes your suggestion and gets off his little carriage and walks over to them. As he walks over to them, you notice that they all look in his direction and have a look of shock on their faces. You've not seen Dragonborn look in shock before.
Yeah.
Lowell, now's the time to do your talky thing and quickly.
And you do notice that he is taller than all of them.
Right. Yes, I'll get over and sort of smooth things over before they start, because Drazzle is likely to say possibly something unfortunate or a bit overly blunt.
And they all seem to be like putting their hands up in supplication as he approaches them.
Yeah, Drazzle, be gentle. Don't push them.
Drazzle looks at you and says, "This dragon business." And he reaches out and
remember, they're not going to
In that
walk
case-
in the city.
No.
and he
And,
he grabs the leader by the throat.
So this is just outside the gates.
This is just outside the gates.
Yep. Benedict will talk to will be talking with or near the guardsman at this stage, and explain that yes, these folk are unlikely to be bothering you any further.
And as you're seeing that, you see Drazzle just grab the guy by the throat and just start dragging him down the road,
Wait,
Away from the city.
away from the city.
The dragon?
Yep. Okay.
The Dragonborn. So
And-
he's literally saying dragging business.
And what are the other five doing?
Following along behind.
Okay. So yes.
I'll explain to the guard.
Well, Pettidier was going to say to the guards,
It's
well,
dragon
I guess it's about time the gates were closed
Yeah.
as we leave.
They start closing the gates. So you catch up to Drazzle quite quickly. He's having he's reprimanding them in Draconic.
No
Which
idea.
I understand.
Don't speak it.
I do.
He's basically telling them off for acting like children.
Aren't they children?
They are children.
Yes. So are you going to teach them how to act properly, Drazzle? I say in Draconic.
He says, "Sure. You shall follow me and do as I do."
Pettidier looks across at Tidal and says, this was your idea.
I just shrug. This is all in Draconic.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What's going on?
But Pettidier understands it and he says you in common.
Oh, okay.
So he opens the back of his carriage and he gestures all of them get in the back of his little carriage.
Might be worthwhile you getting cloaks for them, Mr. Drazzle.
No need for cloaks.
You
I was
just
going to say,
keep them in
apparently they're
there.
all going to fit in the carriage, which doesn't look that big.
I
What?
guess Tidal will shrug and apologize?
And once the last one has stepped in, he shuts the door and you see Drazzle, brush off his hands and saying, "Dealt with."
What are you going to
Okay.
do now, Drazzle?
He's
It's
either
done.
he's either persuaded them to curl up in very small spaces, and I know he can do that, or he's just fed them to his wagon.
Or we have 4 dragon prisoners for no apparent reason.
Yes.
You mean 2 are voluntary? There were 6 initially.
What? Oh, where'd the other 2 go?
That's what I mean. Okay, we've got 4 Dragonborn prisoners. I thought, okay, what happened to the other 2?
Well, there is this happy horse.
Oh dear.
Not
Yeah.
that bad.
Multiply.
So yes, that all 6 of them did get back into the back of the wagon.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm now curious. Can I stick my head in the back of the wagon?
Do you want to?
I don't.
Just because I want to see where it goes. I'm not just going to get in it, I just want to see where it goes.
It was just the blackness when you opened the door before.
Yeah.
Well,
but-
when one of them touched the blackness, the rest of them just faded away.
Oh,
Faded
what?
away.
So when they touched the blackness, the rest of the body just faded away as they touched it.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm not touching that then.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I think
thank
he
you.
I think he has just fed the wagon.
Yeah, no thank you.
Well, you notice he opened the back door, not the side door that he'd already get out
He
of.
gets in through the side.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I've noticed that. He never gets out of the back.
So,
Well, I would suggest that we move off down the pathway for an hour or so before making camp.
yes. Well enough away that the normal patrols from the city aren't going to get to us.
I'm gonna ask Drowsel, does he intend to feed them?
Why?
I
He
already have, he says.
Well,
In
his
fact,
question is
actually,
why. They say they're not his problem anymore.
What do you mean they're not
Oh.
your problem?
They've been dealt with.
Well, aren't they just in the back of your caravan?
No.
There is no back to caravan.
Then what's in your caravan?
Me normally.
You just fed them to your caravan, didn't you?
No caravan, not eat. Caravan, not alive.
But how does
Caravan can still consume, or have you transported them
very
somewhere else?
confused right now. And Tyler's gonna drop the subject.
Drezel can show, but one-way door.
No,
No.
thank you.
Person on the other end not like surprises.
Maybe I'll ask Prayer to ask you later.
So Drezel does all these hand gestures to describe how it works without actually saying anything of use.
I don't speak Dragon sign language.
He's not using sign language, he's just doing gestures.
Oh. Well, that's
He doesn't speak dragon sign language either.
Well, Prayer speaks Draconic, so I'm hoping you can fix the lost in translation issue. But yes, I'll be asking that of Prayer at our destination. As for now, I'm gonna leave this as is. Because Tyler's kind of concerned as to what the hell just happened to the 6 children dragon we slaughtered? Question mark?
I think the best thing we can think of at the moment is they're not going to turn into enemies. And
What are they
leave it
now?
at that.
Rations?
They're not enemies.
Tyler would like to know.
when Tidal asks a bit later on, if he's asking Penadir will explain, I believe the children got given a timeout.
In which universe?
Ask a dragon.
I don't speak Draconic.
Hey, personally I wouldn't say that's the reason not to ask a dragon, but hey, that's your choice.
Alright, Tyler's gonna leave it at that for now.
Dear.
So I'm just glad that they were not causing further trouble or underwent further trouble in Kelvin. So
Yes.
I'm happy in this situation to leave it as dragon business.
That's fine. It's still concerning.
It is very concerning.
Since when has Drezel not been concerning?
That's true.
Though you do
Normally.
have an open-mouthed halfling with you with what the heck just happened.
I would agree with this.
And he's going, don't want to know. And then he
No, you
sort of
don't
just
wanna
sits
know.
He sits there and stares at the fire.
And let's face it, that should let you know what the situation is. If that halfling doesn't want to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, dragon business.
It
Yeah.
concerns me what kind of draconic power we're literally dragging around by a carriage here. But, you know, I'm not going to ask.
Yeah, I may find out at some point, and I'm worried about the idea.
Okay, so that night is rather, peaceful resting, as neither Drezel nor his mount nor the halfling seem to get 1 week of sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Drezel seems quite energetic and helpful around the campsite.
Why?
He's trying to make us feel better about it by being nice. He's still scary as hell, but I'll take it.
Or possibly he's just feeling well fed.
But it could be some weird draconic transference power thing.
So he and his horse and his wagon are all actually the same object or same entity. a little worrying.
Okay.
Yeah, now that's worrying.
When we are sitting around the campfire, Penadine will ask the idea of, so, now that we're away from Kelvin, can you explain exactly what happened to your fellows?
You asked that of Drezel?
Yeah.
Preferably in Draconic.
No, he's asking in common.
He says, fellows go backward. And he nods as if that explains everything.
Back home?
Backward, he says, as he nods again.
Backwards in time. He's made them so young they don't no longer exist. Is that more correct?
He frowns at you and said, that sounds bad. Couldn't you do that, he says.
Theoretically. Did you turn them back far enough that they're now eggs?
Can we not talk about that when we're still close enough to Kelvin after what he's just been through?
So
Yeah, no, valid. I'll give you that.
we are now dragging around a Draconic time machine.
Possibly. Almost definitely.
This is not good in any way possible, shape, or form.
He sort of looks and says, what has backward to do with time?
Oh, yes, that's right.
Draxel,
Younger.
irrespective of that, remember, not all the places around here are welcoming of your kind at this stage. They fear what they don't know, and particularly places like Kelvin.
They learn.
I'm talking about your exit from the river was problematic when you forgot your illusion.
Water disrupt. He just, nods and bounces his head.
Be aware. Avoid it happening again.
We'll fit harness better.
On both yourself and your...
We'll try hat pin.
Yes.
Because he pulls off the hat and he turns into the 8 foot tall dragonborn instead of the ugly looking human.
How about just a piece of string under your chin?
Put on a leather strap. Oh, no,
Oh, that.
you might chew on that.
Hat pin also tasty, he says.
The what pin?
Hat pin.
I'm surprised he hasn't chewed the hat off yet.
It's
He
magic,
goes
you
back.
probably tried.
Well, no, what Parody is concerned about is that usually a hat pin works when you've got hair.
I got scales. You fit between scales, he says.
No, so Parody's not actually stating it because he's looking at you. He doesn't want to know about the idea of how you hold a hat off with a hat pin when you don't have hair to collect it into.
You just push it through the edge of one of the scales. Won't even draw blood.
You mean like pushing it through your skin?
No, more like
I'm
pushing it
sorry.
through the end of your fingernail.
That is the least of my concerns right now compared to that freaking carriage.
Well, yeah, there is that thing. Certainly many things to be worried about right at the moment. I hope we haven't scared our druid too much.
So.
Yeah, I'm so confused with what's going on.
No, that's entirely valid. We've been here forever and we're confused about what's going on.
So they learn a little bit of Drazzle as they go in most sessions.
And every single time it's something worrying or scary or just he's giving us a hug.
Right.
So, yeah, it's Drazzle.
And the thing that most of the characters have learned is Dragonborns have only been around for about 5 to 10 years. Before then, they didn't exist.
Yeah.
Right.
And they've only been walking, and Drazzle is one of the oldest of the Dragonborn.
And he's just under a decade old.
I consider him only like 6, but
I think it was 9.
He started off at about 5 or 6, and he's been around for about 5 years now.
that's probably what I would have pictured there.
Yeah.
Which is why he's a lot bigger and beefier than most of the others.
But let's go. From Parody's perspective, of course, Drazzle is actually Title's problem.
Well, they're both water types.
Well, no, but like I say, from Benedict's perspective, Drazel's apparently with us because Title's there. Drazel's apparently following Title.
There is
yeah,
that.
and next to be throwing Pokeballs at us, thank you very much.
Title, I choose you, Bink. They do actually have them, I believe, little amulets that you can capture people into.
Oh dear.
That's an interesting way of carrying a mercenary unit.
We can only carry one thing at a time in each amulet.
Yeah, so you need a lot of them.
You do.
Yeah, as long as you don't have to attune each one, it's not too hard.
Okay, so you wake up in the morning, it's a bright light. You see that there are a few staked out deer on the grass nearby.
Staked out.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Drazel went hunting.
Oh, okay.
Staked out live or staked out ready to be cooked.
I'm guessing the latter?
You're alive.
Oh.
Okay. Possibly for now, but still.
Yes.
It is Drazel after all.
Yes.
Drazel says offering for thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Eat when ready.
Penadil say, I don't believe we've got enough rations for the trip.
We can carry with us, he says.
They're not going to be needed.
We'll keep them lit live till you need them.
We'll
I
have to
don't
look
think I'll
after
like the
them.
trip on the water.
Yeah.
Walking rations? Floating rations.
They're going to be too much trouble given what we're doing. Thank you for the gesture, but we really shouldn't at this point.
And you can see the bones of one of them near the horse.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yes, of course there is.
At which point the druid would realise that yes, it is a horse-sized dragon under the illusion.
Well, she saw it in the water.
Yeah.
She saw the cake.
Yeah.
In your opinion, Azaria, would you prefer we let these two go or keep them as rations?
The deer?
Penadil's already let them go.
Oh, you let them go already? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Penadil was making the discussion, making the point as you were untying them and pushed them off.
Oh, right, sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm
The
happy with
X
that.
drive after all.
Yeah.
Yes, you do manage to get them away before anyone really figured out what you were doing.
I mean, not that they say, not saying you would never eat deer, but
You didn't
it's
need
not
to.
needed for our kind of purposes, so therefore.
It's just not when your friends are watching, right?
Okay, so it is 3 days travel by horse or elk down to the capital, or 2 days travel by barge.
Mhm.
Well, we'll be heading downriver. If we can get a barge along the way, great.
Yep.
But the Penadil is happy to be walking/riding as necessary.
Okay, there is a ponderous barge coming upriver.
Yep.
Well, I'm assuming that one's not going to want to turn you around, so we're looking for one coming downriver. We'll certainly wave, and if it goes close enough, we'll inquire about any issues on the road or on the pathway down. But
Oh, they say avoid the ruins. Apparently, there are ghosts in there at the moment. So,
Okay.
some sort of ghost meat. He's sure. Humans are weird, even when they die.
So there's some sort of ghost convocation.
Yeah, I'm sure the dead locals are having a ball of some sort.
and how far down is this ruins?
It is 2 days by road.
Okay. And is it on our side of the river or the other side of the river?
Your side of the river.
Right. Well,
If I get the mouse over onto the map, it is right where the mouse is, if you can see it.
oh, you mean actually Karakoris?
It is. And
Oh,
you
okay,
guys
right.
are up here at the moment.
Sorry, I hadn't realised that was actually ruins.
It is ruins, and the road passes right next to it.
Okay.
Yeah, we should go check it out.
I think we should.
It is one of the most haunted places that people disappear in on a regular basis.
Exactly the sort of things that adventurers always get far too close to.
Yep.
Many adventurer has said, "We'll just check this out."
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure many adventurers say, oh, man, that'd be nice. A solid roof over our head after walking all this way down the road. A pleasant night's sleep.
So does this mean Drowser's carriage is called the Mystery Machine?
I'm sure it could be. And it even comes with sound effects.
We'll have to suggest we paint it up with the blue and yellowy green.
Yeah. That might just be because he's been underwater a lot. Okay,
True.
so given the time of day, you find that not many boats are coming back down the river at this stage, and those that do don't seem to be stopping.
Okay, well, as I say, we're happy to be walking, or at least Perenity is happy to be walking.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm happy to be walking too.
Yep.
The boat would have been advantageous for speed, but a day here, a day there.
Well, traveling on our horses, we're on their feet.
Okay, so you end up spending a day traveling, and then the next day, not a thing on the river.
Okay.
It is one of the most unusual days you've had that the river is completely still.
I was going to say, a bit disconcerting about no traffic on the river, but
It is. It's nice, but it's a good travel, but yeah, disconcerting.
and not a single passenger on the road.
Huh.
So you do not see anyone the entire day. You get to the end of the day at one of the stops that normally take on the caravans that go up and down the road, because there's always merchant stops at every day's end.
yep.
And the doors are wide open. There's not a single person there. The place is empty.
Oh wow.
They're not even the proprietors aren't even there.
Yeah.
We'll have a look around and see if we can get an indication as to how long it's been vacant.
Walking in, there is cold food on the table. There's
Is it at all mouldy?
no, it's not moldy. It's just cold.
Cold, half eaten.
Partly eaten, and the drinks are partly drunk. The stable yard looks like it's been half cleaned out. The stables are all closed up and don't have anything in them, but they look like they were set up for things.
Were there any chairs knocked over in the common room or anything like that?
All the chairs are all pushed in.
That's weird.
Yeah. Is there anything magical that I can see?
Okay, having a look around, besides everything you've gotten used to in the party, the entire place here just has a bland sort of look to it.
Okay.
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom save.
Yeah. So, yeah, wisdom saving throw.
Okay. It's one I get advantage on, so.
It's always good to get those ones.
Oh yeah. Not that it made a huge difference. Where's me? What's it there? 18.
Okay, so while you're looking at this non-magical bland thing, you get faint wisps of illusion magic appearing in your detection, and that disappear the moment you focus on it. And,
Can I cast detect magic?
You can cast Detect Magic. Are you doing that as an action or a ritual?
As in, if I do it as an action, that'll just mean I can't do it until I have a rest and like prepare it again, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it uses up one of your slots.
I'll do it as a ritual.
So if you do it as a ritual, it'll take 10 minutes.
Well, okay.
Are we in a rush, guys?
Benedict's certainly planning on spending time looking around and finding out, see if he can work out what's happened here. So.
I will mention what I sensed from my Detect Magic. That I'm detecting things that's... Well, what I think I'm seeing is actually the ghosts, or something that is doing ghost impressions.
Right.
It's not magical things, but there's magic here.
Give me an insight roll for Paul.
Yes. $25.
Okay, you know for a fact that you've walked into an illusion overlaying everything.
Ah.
And the illusion is so good that it's beating your ability to see through it with Detect Magic.
It's also...
And that could quite easily be hiding an entire army of people around you right now without you being able to see them.
Yeah. Yes, this is not a normal illusion too. Because most, when you work that out, fade to the point where you can see through them. I will inform the others. This is an illusionary environment to the extent of there could be anything here and we will not see it.
Well, Pettidy's been, okay, he was just taking a wander around, trying to work out what was there. He had 15 on investigation or 16 on perception. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Looking around, this place just looks like it's been abandoned.
But not abandoned with undue haste or anything like that.
No sign of violence, no sign of disturbance, no
and they carefully put the chairs back even if they left food on the table.
Yeah, there's not even a footprint anywhere. Except for, and you don't even leave footprints.
Yeah, that's the illusion covering that.
Mm-hmm.
So what's actually here then?
So, as I said, well, Pettidy, after having a wander around the outside, would probably have time for Azera to do her Detect Magic inside or outside, wherever she's doing it. But the coming back, if we're talking about the idea that, okay, yep, there's definitely something odd here, an illusion overlaying, because like as Pettidy scrapes a mark in the ground with his foot quite deliberately and shows that, look, nothing actually happens. We can't even see our own.
Give me a perception roll as you do that, Jeremy.
Sorry?
Give me a perception roll as you do that.
23.
You sort of hear a liquidy sort of squelching sound as you do that.
You just stood in something.
No.
But you see nothing. You don't see anything at all on the ground where you did that.
Is there any smell?
This makes me uncomfortable.
I don't blame you.
This place has absolutely no smell whatsoever. You can't even smell the food on the table.
Yeah.
What happens when we try and touch something? Like if I try and touch the food?
You touch the food, the food feels cold, rather dead, doesn't actually feel like it has any life in anything around here. Everything here feels very lifeless.
Martin?
Yep.
A natural 20 to get 27 on religion, deciding whether or not it's going to be worth activating his spirit sense aspects in this location.
Look at it this way. They may not be your people, but you could probably get something from talking to your spirit guides.
Well, I mean, it was more the idea of, am I sensing the presence of spirits in this area?
From the sound of it, enough to say yes.
You are.
Yep. So, okay. Where are we? So I can activate it, and then that gets held till the next rest unless I soul burn, isn't it, for memory?
Yes, and you can choose to keep it active without actually rolling.
Yeah. So
Did you? And you rolled a natural 20 on that.
well, that wasn't specifically for the spirit side of the side. That was more. I was rolling a religion check just to see. Hang on, where are we going with it?
Because if you do roll a natural 20 on it, you do get a good bonus.
It'd be nice if I did, but I can't actually claim that I was rolling it at that point in time because, as I said, it was more the religion check thinking, does this feel like the work of the spirit, particularly since we've been warned about a ghost conclave, but that was still at least a day away, we understood. So,
Okay, so give me a roll then.
Roll the craft roll.
Yep.
Not the natural 20, unfortunately.
Not a natural one.
Where are we? 7, 22.
22. Okay, you activate it and you feel the presence of the spirits. And as you do so, you also get a feeling of death.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that some of the spirits here aren't actual ancestral spirits.
There's something else going on, and the illusion over this place is hiding whatever's here.
And around Jeremy, everyone sees ghostly shapes walking around 5 feet from him.
And I'm assuming I see those too.
You do. So basically, the light radius you're generating goes out about 5 feet from you.
Yep.
You can see you're standing in a pool of blood.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
And you can also see that there are people laying there in the blood itself.
So, however...
And you've been walking all over these people for a few minutes looking around.
Yep. Although... Okay, so my aura actually acts as protection from evil and good against spirits.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect they're probably not actually coming through my aura as such, but they might be lit up by the aura.
They are touching the edge of your aura, and you're seeing it push out this illusion out from you.
Mm-hmm. So, and yeah, as a bonus action, I can activate Spirit Sense. That means I can sense all spirits within 60 feet of me.
Yep.
So, I'm seeing them everywhere. Like, how many spirits am I seeing around me?
Basically, you probably about see 3 or 4 around you at the moment.
Okay, like within the 60-foot circle?
Within the 60-foot circle.
Okay.
Okay.
Just bringing up the thing so I can actually...
yeah, so I was just looking at myself, so it makes sense.
Okay, so you've gotten up the manifestation, and did you activate
the spirit sense?
And the spirit sense? Yep. So you've used 2. Did you do a roll for the spirit sense?
Not specifically. Where are we?
You will need to make a roll for it.
Because I actually thought it was the sense that when you manifest the spiritologist, like for the power, I thought you got the rights of warning. You could ask a question, and as a bonus action, you can activate the spirit sense. But that's a separate roll?
You got to roll for each of them, and each of them has a cost.
Oh, okay.
That's why each
well, in that case, then I won't be going for the rights of warding initially, but I will go for the spirit sense. 1825.
Okay, so you do sense the... so it's acting as a concentration for you now. You can sense that there are 3 major spirits around you. And they are your guardian spirits. They are very unhappy with this place and what's happened here.
So it's my guardian spirits that are actually surrounding me at the present time. It's not necessarily spirits to this place.
They are basically keeping whatever spirits of this place away from you.
Yep.
Ah.
They're not protecting anyone else. They're only protecting you.
Yep.
So have we seen what... We haven't seen... We don't know what he's seen yet.
You can see... He has a 15-foot radius around him of green light, and in that green light,
so we can see that too.
You can see pools of blood and bodies lying in that 15-foot radius.
Like the illusion is burnt away within the light that I'm providing.
Right.
So Jeremy has basically channeled his god directly through him, which is that is one of the special abilities of the setting.
Hmm.
And it's cost me too, in the sense that I've effectively taken permanent hit point damage until I can actually recover it at some point. So, and then not just from a night's rest. I will ask Raven, what happened here? How can it be fixed?
You use one of your spirit questions?
Effectively, yeah.
Give me another roll.
My familiar looks very attentive.
A natural 20 on this one.
Okay, natural 20. It doesn't cost you anything, and you actually get the bonus. Where is that one? Under...
Should we say under or did you say undead?
No. Okay, so... Basically, your character has gained 1 year to your lifespan, so you stop aging for 1 year.
Okay. So now I'm even more confused about how old I am. Can we tell me?
Pretty much. If you roll a natural 1 on doing a craft check, you lose 1 year straight away.
Right.
So it'll even out.
So they give and take, and so that's the big bonus you get from the spiritual craft.
Mm-hmm.
And so what it tells you is vampires did this.
Ah. To conceal their own feeding, really. So this is what the last group of adventurers that came in here, or just some locals?
A group of merchants. This is a merchant stop, and this is why there was no one on the road.
Right.
And the river, and you can see there are barges moored at the. Well, Jeremy can see them now that he's talked to his spirits, and you can actually see around you that it looks as if about 50 people have been murdered in a bloody battle,
And okay.
including livestock, horses, and all that sort of stuff.
Right. So enough vampires to do that. It's probably going to be more vampires than we want to deal with.
His spirit tells you one did this.
One.
Still more than we want to deal with, really.
Yes, considering the closest thing to a cleric we've got. Well, actually, no, we've got Drazzle. He can do full-ball cleric impressions. Make them back off at least long enough for us to kill it.
And and your spirit does tell you the only reason you're still around is you brought a cleric with you.
Yeah.
So that the vampire is still present.
The vampire has retreated because there was a cleric has arrived.
Because we have Drazzle. Right.
Well.
So can we detect him? Also, a thing to think about from the point of view of not knowing that much about Fifth Ed, is a vampire something we could theoretically deal with, or should we back off and call in a force of clerics?
From your understanding of undead, a newborn vampire, something you could deal with. A vampire lord, outside your scope of things, and one of the elven laws you have is vampires originated in this country.
Yeah.
This ruins near you, Krakatos, was rumored to be one of their strongholds.
Which makes it more likely it's a stronger one.
The Koreski Keep is supposed to be another of their strongholds.
Brilliant.
Of course, it may well be a stronger one, but it was still scared off by a single cleric.
Well, would Drazzle have any kind of spells like help something?
Drazzle has cure.
Oh, yeah. Justin, hug this guy to death. One of this thing, sorry. But
Yes,
Basil likes to hug.
give it a hug and crush it.
yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
I'd almost pay to watch that.
You could pay me for it to watch it. It'd be brilliant.
Okay. You also know that a lot of things will avoid vampires will avoid clerics because clerics can call on their god for assistance.
Yeah.
Just calling on their god for assistance can actually bring the god's attention to what they're doing.
Well, I mean,
or bad.
and it could always just be the simple fact that, hey, they can avoid clerics, and there's a lot easier prey out there, even if they're not particularly powerful clerics.
And a lot of the older vampires will not pick fights with certain religions.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
When do you expect to finish this game? Because I think I might have to go soon.
We generally finish up between 10 and 10:30. So
It's
this is
10:30 now.
about the latest we normally try to go to.
Okay.
So now that you've mentioned it, yes, we'll finish up very quickly.
Yeah. We're not camping right now.
So if you
Well,
like, we can
That's
finish
right.
with you having a conversation with Drazzle about vampires in the middle
Yep.
of a village that is slowly having the illusion lift as you're standing amongst a pile of a massacre.
Certainly,
Yeah.
the main point that Penadier's got immediately is that, yes, he's not planning on leaving here if he thinks there's any chance that we can help and remove this influence. To the initial start of whether or not anyone has the dispel magic capability to actually remove the illusion, and then also, if necessary, and Palantir will be walking around trying to at least lift the bodies and place, actually put them into more appropriate locations to actually try and tidy up, even if we can't actually dispel the magic. He'll keep the his aura going for another 24 hours if he needs to.
Well, I will say we'll continue most of what happens
Absolutely.
next session, but you'll see that you finish the session with the fact that everyone's starting to see the entire settlement as we end the session, seeing that there is a massacre here, and you're standing in the center of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the good news is we've got transport into the city now.
You do. There are barges. just no bargemen unless you can animate them.
God.
And no barge horses because he ate them too or killed them.
Okay then. Well, thank you very much, guys.
All good.
Good to meet you, Georgia. Hope you come
Yeah,
again.
thanks. Yeah.
And it is fortnightly.
We'll catch you guys all either tomorrow or next week or in a fortnight's time.
Later.
As I say, Martin, tomorrow I will probably I'll probably log into Skype at normal time, but I won't actually be necessarily involved between about 7:30 and probably 9 o'clock-ish.
That's all good.
Okay then.
Cool.
Good night all.
Guys.
Thanks very much.
Hope you enjoyed yourself, Georgia.
Yep.
Yeah,
As we get to-
definitely. As I get more experience, I'll be able to get involved more.
You certainly you have been thrust into the deep end with the backstory in this particular campaign. Like there's a lot going on in a big background campaign. So
If it's
don't be concerned about me feeling if you're not feeling like you're knowing everything going on yet.
And
sometimes we're lost.
And part of the story is that I'm introducing aspects into it now that are important 10 levels from now.
Right.
Okay.
So just because you might have things dangled in front of you doesn't mean you're expected to solve them. And if I was to say introduce something in 10 levels from now that you should have known at this level, then you'd feel cheated.
Okay. Yes, it is certainly what's known as a sandbox world. You can get yourself into trouble.
Yes, deep holes.
Not everything is designed for our level.
Yes.
Right.
So yeah, any confusion, just ask. We'll probably be confused as well, but we'll work something out.
Cool. Thanks.
All good. So I
Okay.
will see you in a fortnight.
Yep,
Yeah.
Good night all.
Bye.
Good night.
Take care.
Okay, so I will move that into...
Thingy.